videos about the Marvel Universe, starting with the top 10 superheroes. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 251. I want to know who helped Bruce Banner. Factory 149. Quantum virus. Avengers members fell. Oh my god. What a heck. I actually became a zombie? Can I still use magic? At this moment Strange's voice echoed throughout the space. I saw him looking at the video with a look of disbelief on his face. This scene gave him a huge shock. In the last video, I also saw my darkened self. But I didn't expect to see the zombie version of myself again. This made him unbearable, and he even felt like vomiting like Bruce Banner in the video. But he was more worried. It's in the video after all. The zombie version of myself can also use magic, cooperate with other zombies, simply invincible. It is already conceivable that the entire world will turn into zombies under his attack. Drive. Strange, are you as miserable as me? As soon as I return to Earth, I will be the only one left alive. At this time Bruce Banner on the side reacted from his daze. He smiled awkwardly. Good guy. It's not possible to transform into the Hulk in the first place. Who would have thought that as soon as he returned to Earth, he would become the food of these zombies like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered? Is there anyone worse off than him? Drive. Banner, it seems that you are going to become a zombie, but fortunately you can't transform into the Hulk, otherwise the scene will be unimaginable. Here, the words of Bruce Banner. The little spider Peter Parker on the side used his wild imagination. If the Hulk became a zombie, he would be truly invincible. Basically no living person in 630 could resist him, because Tony Stark, who knocked out a tooth from the Hulk, also turned into a zombie. See this scene. The little spider smiled though. But my heart is extremely heavy. He only watched this video for a few seconds. It made him more desperate than any previous video. It's not just him. Others think so too. And their stomachs were churning, and they wanted to vomit. It can already be imagined that Bruce Banner, like Black Dwarf and Ebony Maw, would be used as food alive and then turned into a zombie. But just when they thought it would happen. But he didn't expect that in the picture. Like locusts passing through, countless black bugs passed by, devouring Tony Stark and other zombies, leaving only the bones. Although I almost vomited when I saw this, but it made their expectations swell at this moment. What happened? I actually died like this. What happened? Strange. Exclaimed. Just a second ago, I thought I would turn the whole world into zombies as a result. He died immediately the next second. This reversal happened so fast it was like a tornado. Let him fall directly into confusion. Could it be that these bugs have also turned into zombies? I'm afraid this Earth is hopeless. It's the end of the world at the beginning. Bruce Banner choked up and said. I didn't expect this video to start with such a doomsday scene. While they were caught off guard, they felt extremely desperate. I can't even think of what story will follow. But at this moment Peter Parker pointed at the screen and exclaimed, "No, look. If the bug is also infected, why is Dr. Banner okay?" Banner is okay. When Peter Parker's words came out, everyone turned their attention to the video. I saw those bugs seeming to be able to avoid Bruce Banner, charging straight at the zombies and then eating them. It doesn't look like they were infected and lost their minds. More like being manipulated. That's right. These bugs are controlled by humans. It wasn't just the Avengers who thought of this. Other observant people in the universe have also discovered this. Suddenly, hope seemed to be ignited. Send barrages like crazy. These bugs are controlled by someone. Could it be that there are still living people? I knew there were still living people in this world. Although it is the end of the world from the beginning, I believe that the superheroes will definitely succeed. Who is controlling these bugs? Captain America? Natasha? None of them are right. Although This video sounds like the end of the world when it first appears, but many people believe that there are still living people in this world. And firmly believe that these living people are superheroes and will save the world. Now they are looking forward to who is the person who will save Bruce Banner, so they all turned their attention to the dimensional platform and refuse to let go of any frame. Video continues when countless bugs gnawed Doctor Strange and other zombies into bones like tornadoes. A figure suddenly grew larger and appeared in front of Iron Man and cracked his head off. Many giant ants also appeared on the side, eating the heads and remains. See this scene. Countless people stared at the figure in the video with their mouths agape. She has a graceful figure and wears armor similar to that worn by Hank Pym before, but the only difference is that she has a pair of wasp-like wings on her back. In an instant. Countless people have connected it with Hank Pym. As if he realized something. etc. Exclamation mark. This should be Hank Pym's daughter? Question mark. Her armor looks very similar to Hank Pym's. That's right. She should be the Hope mentioned in Hank Pym's video before, right? She is Hank Pym's daughter. Backup. I remember seeing her in the final battle on the last ranking list. She is also a superhero. Great. Finally there is a living person. People raised their arms and shouted. Although I have no impression of Hope. But they know this is also a superhero. And he was as happy as if he had found a living person in the zombie world. It's like seeing Hope and looking forward to what will happen next. Video continues. Bruce Banner rises from the ground. Watching this scene after scene before my eyes, his face twisted into a bitter melon and he said, "No, I'm going to vomit. I really want to vomit. Follow them. It's safe with them." At this time. Hope reminded. And Bruce Banner heard this even more confused. With them. These begants in front of me. Oh my god, you heard that right. You mean these begants? Who are you? One of the last remaining Avengers. When Hope said these words, the background music suddenly became terrifying. It was as if something terrible happened suddenly, making countless people's hearts skip a beat. Then I saw a figure that was so fast that only an after image flashed past, taking Bruce Banner away. Chapter 252. See the scene. Countless people's pupils dilated rapidly. I originally thought Bruce Banner was saved. Who would have thought that he would be arrested again now? But just when people started to get nervous, the scene changes. The camera zooms in on Bruce Banner. When the figure that took him away came into people's eyes, they all breathed a sigh of relief. It turns out to be Spider-Man. Don't eat me. Don't eat me. Hey, calm down. I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Friendly neighbor? Bruce Banner admits he panicked. From the moment you arrived on Earth to now. Every scene he saw shocked his heart and outlook. So he asked in confusion, "Really? Well, what happened to these neighbors of mine, Bruce?" Banner had no idea. Why did my former friend and comrade in arms become like this? I want to eat. When I see him. And it looked like he had completely lost his mind. This made him very confused and annoyed. And the questions he asked are what everyone watching the video wants to know. That is, what happened to lead to all this? At this time, the background music is soothing. It's like falling into memories, and the observer's narration sounded like many apocalypses. This place was once full of love and hope. The words just fell. The scene changes. A mysterious and gorgeous scene appeared. Zero. It's like entering some kind of miniature realm. At this time. Something like a small submarine passed by. Then it will fall on this field. Drive. Hank Pym entered the quantum realm 2 weeks ago in order to find his long-lost wife, but in this universe, due to infection with the quantum virus, Janet Van Dyne's brain was damaged, so 30 years later, when she was finally reunited with her husband, an accident happened. The observer's voice seemed to ring in the ears of countless people. Everyone got goosebumps all over their bodies. They never expected it. The original cause of everything. Turns out to be Hank Pym's wife. She's Hank Pym's wife. I just said it's not that simple. Quantum virus. What is this? Whatever it is. Now I finally know what the source of the infection is. It's him and his wife. And once one person is infected, the speed of infection can only be described as staggering. But why are superheroes also infected? Logically speaking, ordinary people are much more likely to be infected, right? After Understanding the cause. Point 1 can already imagine Hank Pym and his wife returning to the real world. Point it will become a source of infection, infecting everything around it. Point. But what's confusing is logically speaking, ordinary people are much more likely to be infected. Point superheroes are not so susceptible to infection. Point. But why? Doctor Strange and Tony Stark are both infected. This question is like a fishbone stuck in the throat. It is impatient. Video continues when Hank Pym returns to the real world with his wife. Point. Hope and Scott are already waiting here. Point. But the moment the hatch opened. Point. Hank Pym's ferocious face caught Hope's eyes, and when he launched his attack, he instantly shrank into the size of a wasp. But Scott was not so lucky. Oh my god. Hank. No. The background music is tight and fast. Point. Scott's screams echoed throughout the space. Countless people saw this scene. They all swallowed hard. Point. Unexpectedly, this chatty little ant turned out to be the second victim, and this also explains why Hope can survive. Before people's heavy hearts calmed down. Point. The background music is more desperate and scary. Point. The voices of observers also sounded again. The entire Pacific Northwest fell in 24 hours. Ironically, it was the heroism of the 1.3 Avengers that led to this tragedy. Because once Earth's mightiest heroes were infected, everyone else there is no hope of survival. Unless of course they understand the rules of survival. There is no emotional wave in this passage from the observer, but it set off huge waves in the hearts of countless people, beating their chests one after another, and they couldn't calm down for a long time. That's right. Point. Once a superhero is infected. Point. Then it will make the situation more serious. But what they really want to know is, how did superheroes get infected? I saw the screen came to a bridge. Point. Densely packed zombies gather here. Point. The Quinjet belonging to the Avengers also landed in the next second. Point. A few familiar figures walked out of it. Follow my command. At this time. Point. When Captain America shouted these words, the other members all assumed fighting postures. However, Captain America screamed in pain at this time. Point. The camera zooms in on his neck. Point. When a small figure caught the eyes of countless people. Point. They all gasped. They finally knew how these Avengers members were infected, because that small figure is the shrunken Hank Pym. Hank Pym opened his mouth and took a bite of Captain America's neck. Point. Countless viewers who were watching the video also felt a little excited in their hearts. Captain America is in danger. Avengers, danger. Point. 150. Telecommunications of Hope set out to find the medicine. Holy shit. Now I finally know why Mr. Stark and the others turned into zombies. It turned out to be a shrunken Hank Pym. This guy bit the captain directly. Then the other members are also bad. Maybe it's really like the bald man said, that the Avengers caused this tragedy. At this time. Point. Peter Parker's chatty attributes are fully activated. Point. Look at the smaller version of Hank Pym in the video. Point. He said this in horror and very much identified with the observer. After all, once an Avengers member is infected. Point. Just like an invincible zombie army, infecting ordinary people one after another to their heart's content, there was no way to fight back. Point. It's not just him. Point. The other Avengers saw this also heartbroken. Point. Forget about Tony Stark and Doctor Strange turning into zombies, but who would have thought that Captain America, who leads the superheroes, would also be infected? It was like a basin of cold water poured on their newly ignited hope, which turned into despair. Now, it's okay. The problem has changed from saving the world to how to survive. If you have seen zombie movies, the next step will definitely be difficult. Bruce Banner said worriedly. Chapter 253. I have the same pessimistic attitude as myself in the video. Point. After all, he doesn't see any hope. Can the Wasp, the chatty Spider-Man, and herself save the world alone? Do not make jokes. What you should consider now is how to survive. Hear the words of Bruce Banner. Everyone else fell silent. Point. It cannot be denied. Point. He's right. Point. The most important thing now is how they survive. Point. And in the process of survival, whether we can get the antidote is the most important thing. So they all turned their attention to the dimensional platform and continued to watch. Video continues when Captain America and other superheroes were swallowed up by the zombie wave. Point. The camera slowly zooms up to the sky. Point. It's like jumping out of memories and returning to the real world. Point. And as in response to the observer's last sentence. Point. Peter Parker appears in screen 09. Introducing everyone to this disaster. New York. There's the New York metropolis, the Chrysler building, there's the beauty in Sex and the City, and now it's also zombie land. If you can survive here, it won't be a problem to survive anywhere, but first don't get eaten. In video. Peter Parker is still as chatty as ever, and he looks very optimistic. It seems to be in contrast to the previous Bruce Banner. Hear his words. People who are watching the video know that Peter Parker is spreading the knowledge of survival to other people who may survive. Step 1. Wear long sleeves. As Peter Parker continued. The camera turned to the side. I saw Tony Stark's driver Happy standing there and holding a sign, looking very dissatisfied. Can't I change these clothes, please? The world's safety depends on this. Zombies are here. Peter Parker just finished speaking. Kurt, Ant-Man's friend Scott, enters as a zombie. Then the voice of Peter Parker's introduction sounded. The zombie virus is spread through saliva, so the less exposed skin you have, the less likely you are to be bitten. The second step is to pay attention to hygiene. Zombies are very sensitive to human odor, so the less pheromones you emit, the better. Once the zombies smell you, you are as vulnerable as a newborn baby. In video. Then Bucky and Agent Carter appeared. Can you stop broadcasting? Just when these threatening words sounded. A smooth transition appears when Peter Parker put down the phone in his hand. The animation-like video inside changed to a real scene. And in the shot, the most familiar guard general of the Black Panther appears holding a spear and having a conspicuous bald head are her characteristics. I was just showing Dr. Banner a promo. I am Dora of the Wakanda Royal Guard. General Okoye of Mirage. Okoye walked towards Bruce Banner beside Peter Parker, although his face is still so serious and cold. But what I have to say is that she is in a good mood at this time. After all, one more person means more power. The most important thing for her now is to find and rescue her King T'Challa. If it turns into a zombie, then Wakanda will fall into great turmoil. You really picked a good time to come, General. Drive Banner. I swear what I said. Our King and the Avengers disappeared a few weeks ago. For the first time since the zombie outbreak, we saw hope. We received a telegram. Hope. When Okoye said these words, Spider-Gwen marks Sebastian Sulfur Temple, and people who are watching the video have their eyes lit up. Before, they were still thinking about how these survivors should survive. The result is now said. I saw hope. Is there really a way to solve all this? Countless people stared at the screen. When Okoye led Bruce Banner and Spider-Man forward, the camera slowly zoomed out from a place like a carriage to high in the sky. When the scene in front of people comes into view, it brought a huge visual impact to people. My heart is extremely shocked. I saw countless spider webs crisscrossing the high-rise buildings made of reinforced concrete, suspending several carriages in the air to prevent zombies from invading. Seeing this scene, people realize the seriousness of the problem now. The zombie world is even more terrifying than they imagined. To actually live here, doesn't that mean it's no longer possible to survive on the ground? I didn't expect the problem to be so serious. There is not even a place to stay. Fortunately, there are little spiders' webs, so survival safety is not a problem. Now, there is hope again, and I feel like they are on the right track. That's right. Although the living conditions are difficult. But when Okoye says there is hope, people who are watching the video are also igniting hope and no longer despair. They wanted to know who sent this message and what shocking news it contained. Video continues. When Okoye brought Peter Parker and Bruce Banner to another carriage. Only those who survived gathered here. And explained by Okoye, there is a survivor camp claiming they have made progress in drug development. What? Great. The global crisis has been solved. We should give high fives to celebrate. Okoye hadn't finished his sentence. Peter Parker on the side exclaimed excitedly. This couldn't help but make everyone feel that Peter Parker was too optimistic. Don't get too excited. The indicator is encrypted. We don't know where the message came from. Bucky scolded in a deep voice. Then he expressed his concerns. But in Bruce Banner's opinion, this is not a problem. The message was written in a non-linear 6-bit code. Agent Carter, do you recognize this place? Camp Caspian in New Jersey. SHIELD's first base may have the equipment you need to synthesize therapeutic drugs. Agent Carter's words immediately made people's hopes burn even more intensely. I didn't expect to actually find that place. Doesn't it mean that not only do you have the medicine, but you also have the equipment to make the medicine? It can be said that everything is ready. Great. We have both things. The Earth can be saved. The Earth can be saved. I knew it. The Avengers represent a belief. They are fighting for the world now. Isn't that what it is, Nick? Fury will be very happy if he sees it. Without Captain America and the others, there will be superheroes one after another standing up. Saw these barrages. Nick Fury, who was watching the video, wanted to complain that he was not dead. But he didn't do that. Instead, he nodded happily. Then he glanced around at the Avengers members around him. That's right. Just like I said in the previous video. The Avengers are by no means a team of people, but a belief. In this time of crisis there will always be a superhero to step up. The group of people in the video are the superheroes of the zombie world. He's looking forward to them saving the world. Why? I sense a conspiracy. If it is true, then this message should not be encrypted. Obviously it is like a bait. At this time Tony Stark, who didn't know when he woke up, staggered and said these words. It instantly made people's nerves tense. Suddenly I felt a chill on my back, and my scalp was numb. Chapter 254. Yes, if the drug is really manufactured, then they should try their best to let the surviving people know. The move to encrypt is obviously contrary to the purpose. It's more like a bait, specially designed to lure people who can understand this telegram. I'm afraid their trip will be more unlucky. It's the end of the world. Who else would be so bored as to send a message like this to set up a trap? It's so abominable. Bruce Banner was sad and angry at the same time. All he wants now is to see the group of people in the video survive. He doesn't want to see the picture of death anymore. He can hardly stand watching the video, let alone himself in the video. At this time the background music is loud and intense. Like a strong man setting off. It makes people excited. Only seen in the video. When Agent Carter revealed her destination. General Okoye told the departure time in a low voice. Then we'll set off at sunset. There are a lot of zombie activities during the day. Less at night. But due to lack of vision at night. So Okoye decided to set out at dusk. It can avoid the peak period of zombie activity and provide line of sight. As the saying goes, kill two birds with one stone. And when she finished saying this, everyone looked at Happy, who was sitting leisurely on the sofa. There was a look of entrusting him with some important task. Etc. Everyone is watching what I am doing. Happy looked confused. Then the scene transitioned smoothly, and Happy immediately changed from sitting on the sofa to sitting in the driver's seat. 633. It's a fucking zombie apocalypse, and I'm still driving here. Happy cursed in frustration. Obviously very dissatisfied with this move. It's all his zombie apocalypse. Isn't it better to enjoy the last happy time? He is actually still a driver as before. You simply don't treat him as a human being. See this scene. The tense nerves of the viewers who were watching the video were immediately relaxed. And kind of want to laugh. Haha. Happy made me laugh so hard. When I saw that group of people looking at Happy, I thought something was wrong. They actually let him drive. It's a fucking zombie apocalypse, but he's still driving. You really don't treat him as a human being. But is it really okay to drive in this zombie world? Yes, driving means being exposed. If it were me, I would definitely not dare to drive. If it triggers a zombie wave, you are really dead. Look, they are not driving normal cars, although this sudden scene made me laugh. But what people are more concerned about is that driving in this zombie apocalypse is tantamount to courting death. After all, moving things will attract the attention of countless zombies and even trigger a zombie wave. Let alone setting off. Even surviving is a problem. But at this moment the background music suddenly became terrifying. The ugly face of a zombie suddenly appeared in front of the windshield. Seeing this scene, countless people's hearts skipped a beat and goosebumps appeared all over their bodies. Have no idea what happened. Why is this zombie so big? a head bigger than a windshield. Just when countless people are confused. Happy in the video was also shocked. Then he pressed the button on the side. Immediately afterwards, we saw from the camera outside the car that the car, which was as big as a toy car, immediately zoomed in and exploded the zombies in front of it to death. See this scene. Everyone's doubts were explained one after another. Turns out it's not just the wasp and ant-man who can shrink and grow. Even cars. Get off the train, everyone. We are here at New York Grand Central Station. Before everyone can appreciate this technology. Happy's voice rang out. The camera zooms out. The architecture of New York's Grand Central Terminal caught everyone's eyes. The background music also sounded more intense. People know that from now on, this group of people will embark on a journey, and this journey must be full of difficulties and obstacles. But they have faith in this group of people, because they are superheroes. 151. Happy Hawkeye Falcon became a zombie. Peppo, did you see that? That's me. That's me. I saw it. Happy, look how excited you are. If Tony were here, he would definitely laugh at you. At this time. Happy was beyond excited. His face turned red and hot. He never expected it. He actually appears in the video. It was like the sun rising from the west, which made him feel incredible. Tony has become a zombie. He can't laugh at me. What's more, maybe I can become a superhero who saves the world. Happy retorted confidently. It was obvious that he was extremely excited. It's not even an exaggeration to describe it as swollen. Hear his words. Peebo, who was dealing with Stark Industries affairs on the side, gave him a helpless look. Nothing more was said. Happy was left breathing heavily and staring at the dimensional platform with wide eyes. However, when he thought that he would save the zombie world like a superhero. In the video, he sat in the driver's seat again and drove them to New York Grand Central Station. Is this what you call a hero? A driver hero is indeed very good. See this scene. Peebo on the side also put down what he was doing. Maybe it was from spending so much time with Tony. She couldn't help but make a mocking sound. Happy felt his face go from burning with excitement to burning with embarrassment. Good guy, why did you become their driver again? What bad luck. At ****. Why am I still a driver in the zombie world? Why? I don't accept it. Happy looked at the barrage on the dimensional platform. It was all laughter, although the overall atmosphere of this video is very desperate and terrifying. But it was precisely because of this little episode of his it has made countless people relax a lot. But for Happy himself, it was like a fatal blow. His heroic dream was shattered in one fell swoop. Video continues when a group of people arrived inside New York Grand Central Station. The dim afterglow reflected from the outside through the huge glass. The interior of the station was originally extremely dark and cool. It also adds a touch of brightness. The background music is melodious and soothing, making the audience watching the video feel safe and relaxed. I can't help but look forward to them taking the train to reach their destination quickly. Chapter 255. Then save the whole world. Hope, Banner, Parker, you go to line 7 and try to see if you can start the train by short-circuiting the wires. General Okoye walked in the front. There is no Captain America now. The only one who can guide and command is her who has experienced hundreds of battles. If you want to break the law and commit a crime, count me in. Want to split up? Here. Okoye's words. Spider-Man and Kurt, to chatty people, talked a lot. Happy was the only one confused. I don't understand why we have to split up at this time. But Okoye did not answer and continued. The others stay here and remain vigilant. The words just fell. Happy grinned and showed off the Iron Man armor on his left hand, which can release powerful energy bombs like Iron Man. As if to say that he can also fight to protect them. Obviously. He also has a heroic dream. The scene changes came to line 7. The three men took action in the train's control room. But after a while, I heard Kurt say anxiously, no power at all. Please take the train to save your face. It's useless. The gearbox is broken. Banner sighed. A bit disappointed. I originally thought that everything went smoothly when I arrived here. However, Hope on the side did not give up and comforted them and said, here I go. I'll start the engine from the inside. Finished. Hope shrinks into a wasp and gets inside the engine. trying to get the igniter to light point, but there is no way. The ignition won't turn on. Someone needs to push us. How about you, ask Hulk. Inside the cab point, Kurt heard Hope's words and turned to Banner. If anyone can push this train point, it must be Hulk. No, he won't come out. Is there any other way? See this scene point. Countless people watching the video began to worry. Point you know, in the zombie world, point staying in one place for a long time is a big no-no. What's more, they don't know the situation in this place at all. Although no zombies have been seen yet. Point, but maybe they will all come out in droves later. The most important thing now is to get the train moving. However, just when Banner and others were discussing what to do, point the screen came to Okoye and others who were on sentry duty on the other side. Point in the lens, Okoye and Bucky moved forward in defensive postures. It looks like he wants to explore. Point sudden. At this time, the background music suddenly became terrifying. The sound of the violin was like claws scratching on the glass, making countless people's hearts tremble and goosebumps all over their bodies. Then, in the light and shadow behind Okoye and Bucky, there was a shadow with wings. Boom, boom, boom. Countless people watching the video saw this shadow. Point there was a look of horror on his face. Point they were still worried that zombies would enter. I didn't expect it to come so soon. And they saw this figure. Point I instantly thought of a heroic figure, the Falcon. It's over. It seems the zombies have discovered them. I knew there would be zombies coming, but I didn't expect another hero with falcons flying in the sky. It should be very easy to deal with Okoye and Bucky. I really hope nothing happens to them. Just when countless people are worried. Point the screen turned to Banner again. Point Peter Parker suddenly appeared and participated in their discussion, and then exclaimed, I have an idea. Hold on to the brakes. Hearing Peter Parker's words, the viewers who are watching the video are impatient. Point Peter Parker and others still don't know that zombies have appeared in Central Station. Point they all felt anxious for them. Point hopefully Peter Parker can actually start the train. Point in this way, you can avoid losing anyone again. Phew. At this time. Point I saw Peter Parker perform a perfect backflip and reach the front of the train. Point, and he sprayed spider silk towards it with both hands, constantly pulling it outward. Point Banner in the cab also pushed the brake lever forward. Point see this scene. Point people seem to know Peter Parker's purpose. Point as long as he pulls it long enough. Point elastic potential energy can be converted into kinetic energy of the train. Point like a slingshot. Catapult the train. What a great idea. But while Peter Parker was still gathering strength to pull the spider silk. Point the screen came to the other side, where Agents Carter and Happy were. Point I saw the two of them looking around cautiously. Point suddenly, a swarm of black bats burst out of the culvert. Point keep passing Happy. Bang. Bang bang bang. Because of high nervousness and heroic dreams, Happy kept saying onomatopoeia. Point, and he aimed his left hand at the bad group and fired one light bomb after another. It turns out to be a bird. Happy smiled awkwardly. Point he admitted he overreacted. Point viewers watching the video saw this scene. Point also relieved. Point do not know why. Point every time I see Happy when I'm nervous, it makes me feel so relaxed. I think Happy has the potential to be a comedian. Being a driver is a waste. I was quite nervous at first, but after seeing Happy, I don't know why I'm not nervous at all. Yeah, Happy is really interesting. I suggest Tony Stark sell him to me. I will never treat him badly. People were talking a lot. Point the heart that had been hanging just now relaxed. Point, but at this moment. Point there was a popping sound. A barbed arrow pierced Happy's right shoulder. Suddenly, it was like a knife being inserted into people's hearts. They trembled and seemed to stop beating at the same time. They all showed fear and worry. What happened? Happy yelled. Chapter 256. But he was dragged wildly and mercilessly by the arrow. Point it left a scratch on the ground. Point continuously firing the light bullets in his hands into the darkness. Bang. Bang 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 bang. Happy kept saying onomatopoeia. Point, but the sound became smaller and smaller until his figure disappeared into the darkness. His voice also stopped suddenly. Gudang. Viewers watching the video saw this scene. His pupils expanded rapidly, and he stared at the screen with a frozen expression. I can't believe it. Happy just made no sound. You don't need to think too much to know that Happy is in trouble. Despair, sadness. Countless people lowered their eyes. The last thing they wanted to see was this scene. Not many people would have survived. And the atmosphere is so depressing. If not happy. Maybe their hearts are always tense. So they really don't want to see Happy die. But things are unpredictable. Happy. Someone's hurt. Someone's hurt. Happy's gone. It looks like Agent Carter, who was with Happy, made an urgent call to the others. Hear her words. Everyone else's faces were filled with sadness, especially the little spider closed his eyes in despair. If Tony Stark is like his father, then Happy is like his uncle. He likes Happy. No, 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 Happy. Although the little spider is sad. But he continued to pull at the spider thread. The current elastic potential energy is completely insufficient to make the entire train move. When the camera turned back to Agent Carter, the last sentence was not finished yet. An arrow instantly pierced her shoulder and pinned her to the wall. Follow her gaze. The silhouette of a zombie carrying a quiver came into everyone's eyes. See this scene. Everyone who is watching the video is aware of this. It was Hawkeye who killed Happy. It's Hawkeye. When Agent Carter said these words, on the other side, General Okoye, who was still exploring the surroundings with Bucky, looked shocked and disbelieving. Unexpectedly, Hawkeye and the Avengers also suffered a vicious attack. I can't help but feel worried about the situation of King T'Challa. After all, he stayed with the Avengers a few weeks ago, but before she could react from her worry, boom, a figure like a falcon flew in. She and Bucky looked up at the sky at the same time. When the figure of the falcon caught their eyes, it made their hearts extremely heavy. This is the second member of the Avengers they have seen in person, plus Tony Stark and Doctor Strange's banner said before. 4 have already fallen. It's hard not to think that the other members' fate was not so good. Falcon and Hawkeye, they also turned into zombies. I'm afraid to do anything after seeing it, let alone them. It's so bad. Yes, it is extremely difficult to attack the superheroes you knew in the past. I saw the Falcon flying towards the two of them. The Winter Soldier didn't take action for a moment. Instead, it was Okoye who was unfamiliar and launched an attack without reservation, accompanied by intense fighting music. The video is split into 2. On the left side of the screen is Agent Carter, who is fixed on the wall by an arrow, and in front of her are Hawkeye and Happy, who have turned into zombies. On the right side of the screen, Wang Heo is a Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Okoye, fighting back and forth in the whole. No matter which side it is, the audience was frightened when they saw it. They all prayed that they would not turn into zombies, but fortunately, they all have excellent fighting skills in a short period of time. Falcon and Happy were dealt with respectively, and Agent Carter also took away the Iron Man armor from Happy's hand, avoiding Hawkeye's attack. And the screen. More and more zombies are gathering inside Central Station. And everyone rushed to the station one after another, accompanied by tight, urgent music. People watching the video also held their breath. Pray that they can all get on the train. Hold on, Peter. They should be almost here. Okay, listen to my command and release the brakes, Peter. Parker gritted his teeth and insisted. But that's it. A large number of zombies appeared behind. Novel exchange group 7,032,220. Just when he was about to bite Peter Parker, the magic cloak appeared and knocked down zombies one after another. By the time see this scene. Countless people's nerves are even more tense. They all hope that those people can leave here quickly and successfully. As one member after another boarded the train. Kurt released the brakes. The train instantly shot out like a cannonball, successfully ignited and drove out of the station. It worked. They made it. Awesome. Now I can finally look for medicine. I feel like saving the world is very close. Countless people raised their arms and shouted. They all breathed a sigh of relief. Although the death of these superheroes makes them sad. But people can't just live in the past. Look forward. They believe that these people will be able to find the medicine. I'm even more looking forward to what kind of story will happen in that shield base. 152. Captain America died, and the Wasp was poisoned. I can't believe it. So many people have turned into zombies. It's really too bad. Happy also became a zombie, but luckily he set off successfully. Otherwise he wouldn't know what to do with the zombie wave just now. Just because you set off successfully doesn't mean things will go smoothly later on. Don't forget what we guessed before. This is probably a trap. At this time point the Avengers who were watching the video though were relieved that they managed to escape point. But my heart is extremely heavy point. It's obviously just a simple departure point. It will cause so many terrifying zombie waves, so what kind of hardships are waiting for them later? What's more, this is probably a trap. It made them even more worried. Among the superheroes now, it seems that only Wanda and Vision have not appeared, right? And Vision is a robot and cannot become a zombie. Maybe he will meet them later and help them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 257. At this time point Bruce Banner thought about it point. Everyone who should show up basically showed up point. Only Wanda and Vision didn't show up point. And since Vision is a robot, he can't be infected with the virus at all point, so there seemed to be a glimmer of hope burning in his heart. Vision? That's right. He is a robot. Wherever he is, Wanda is also there. Maybe they are the saviors. The little spider looked at the fierce Wanda point. It's also a bright spot point. Cast an expectant gaze point. He believes that Vision will be able to lead them to victory in this world, successfully save the world. And Wanda and Vision heard this. They also looked at each other point. Feel very proud point. I didn't expect that in this zombie world, Vision's existence would be so special. Vision, it seems that this time, you are the hero who saves the world. Wanda. If we talk about heroes, these surviving people are all heroes. However, I also want to know where the two of us are in that world. Vision looked at the video in confusion point. If the zombie virus breaks out in the first place point, logically speaking, he and Wanda should stand on a united front with the Avengers. But why hasn't it appeared until now? Escape wasn't really their style point, so now he really wants to know where he and Wanda 633 are. Do not know why point. He had a bad feeling point, but he had no choice but to stop thinking point. So he and Wanda turned to look at the dimensional platform at the same time. The train successfully flew out of the tunnel under the traction of the spider silk and was successfully ignited. Video continues accompanied by soothing and melodious music point. In the expectant eyes of countless people point, the train traveled on the railroad tracks at high speed point, heading towards Caspian Camp point. Although many people speculate what will happen next point, but no one has an accurate answer. After all, they understood a truth through these videos that it's not only the worldview was unexpected to them, but what happened inside was even more unexpected. So now they won't quarrel over differences of opinion at all point. What's more, I'm looking forward to what unexpected things will happen. After arriving at Caspian Camp, he looks handsome in his clothes. In video point alternate questions group Beijing 6. Feed Silling when Peter Parker, wearing a magic cloak, walked into the car with a depressed look point. Hope praised point. Maybe he wanted to cheer up Peter Parker in front of him point, or maybe he's just really handsome point. Anyway point for Peter Parker, who had just lost Happy, it gave him a touch of warmth. Really? Do you think I'm worthy? Maybe. One day you will, Peter. Parker raised his lips slightly point. There is a lot less depression point viewed from a distance point. Spider-Man's coat and red magic cloak really match well point. See this scene point. The viewers who were watching the video also nodded happily point. Although the little spider is a talker, but in this world, it really helps a lot point compared to previous videos. His growth is obvious to all. Little Spider has really grown up a lot. I believe that one day he will be worthy of this cloak. In this world, first he is an air shelter, and then he is a train. He works really hard and his growth is obvious to all. Wait a minute. Although he has grown a lot, but isn't he supposed to inherit Iron Man? How did he become Doctor Strange? What little Spider inherits is not their technology or magic, but their will. You idiot. That's Right point Spider-Man is worthy of what he asked point it's not. That the magic power is not worthy of this magic cloak point it's about whether his will and belief in protecting the earth are worthy of it point. Although in the previous video point Spider-Man feels like the successor to Iron Man point, but there are many people who understand point this kind of successor does not inherit external material such as technology, but hopes that he will become a superhero. Like Iron Man, a superhero who can stand alone. At this moment point, when Spider-Man was in a much better mood point General Okoye in front of him apologized with a guilty and disappointed look on his face. It's my fault, we shouldn't have split up. When Okoye said these words the scene immediately came to the end of the train point I saw Agent Carter standing there, remembering the lost comrades it seems to confirm what Okoye said. She stands here alone, as if she is acting alone. Seeing this scene, people don't know why they have an ominous premonition point nerves are slightly tense point, and when Agent Carter turned around and was about to walk into the car boom, boom, boom. Several heavy footsteps came from above the carriage instantly. It was like stepping on the hearts of countless people, trembling suddenly, nervous and scared. All kinds of complicated emotions flooded into my heart. Countless people held their breath and stared at the screen. Agent Carter is in danger. Boom. At the same moment, when the train passed through the tunnel, there was a loud explosion on the roof, and a figure fell from the sky and came to Agent Carter. But because of the darkness, no one can clearly see who this figure is. I just know that this figure must not be an ordinary zombie point, most likely a superhero. I can't help but feel even more worried about Carter. At this time point the camera comes to Bucky point when Agent Carter's screams echoed throughout the carriage point. The background music is even more compact and urgent point. It will make the hearts of countless people watching the video beat loudly. I saw Bucky rushing over with a rifle in hand point. After he opened the door the camera followed his gaze point. I saw a figure catching everyone's eyes. It's Captain America. Captain America. He's here. Why did I forget Captain America? He should be a very powerful type among zombies. Wait. Can Bucky attack Captain America? What if he relents and turns into a zombie? Hey, what you said makes sense. The friendship between Captain and Bucky is really not a joke. Silence. Speechlessness. Countless people turned their attention to Bucky point. Everyone wants to know. Face the zombie Captain America point. Bucky, what would he do? Chapter 258. In the previous video point, even if Bucky loses consciousness, he continues to kill or perform tasks. Captain America considers him his best friend point. He even didn't hesitate to break up with Iron Man for him point. This friendship can even be compared to family affection point. Bucky must have said the same thing to Steve. It's time to end, Captain. In the eyes of countless people looking forward to it point. Bucky frowned slightly and said this softly point. But like rain falling in the desert, countless people watching the video breathed a sigh of relief point. They don't want to see any member die again. But my heart is also extremely heavy point. This also means that Captain America will also die. Inside the dimly lit carriage point, Captain America's face is ferocious with his bloody mouth wide open, and the shield in his hand is stained with countless blood. Compared with previous videos, it is so terrifying and terrifying point. Raw Captain America roared like a beast and then suddenly ran towards Bucky, using his shield to resist Bucky's hail of bullets. Bang, bang, bang. The dull sound of impact continued to resound. Bucky calmly and continuously bombarded Captain America, and in the last punch, Captain America was directly blown away. Even though Carter had turned into a zombie, Bucky didn't care. He just pushed her to the ground and stared at Captain America in the distance. Bucky, at this time point hope rushed over, but he was startled by the zombie Carter who suddenly jumped in front of him point. It instantly shrunk and then entered her mouth point. The camera pans to Captain America again point. I saw him concentrating all his strength on his arms and then suddenly threw the shield in his hand. Whoops. The shield brought with it a roar that broke through the air. It was as if the entire space was split apart point. He flew right in front of Bucky in a flash of lightning, but Bucky seemed to have expected it. While catching the shield with his left hand, he turned around and threw it out again, faster and more powerful than before, and in the shocked eyes of countless people point it suddenly hit Captain America's body point. It was stuck in the door at the end of the carriage. Struggle. Powerlessness. Zombie Captain America was broken at the waist point. It slipped directly out and fell on the railway track. Farewell, brother, Bucky. Took off Captain America's shield and looked at Captain America on the railroad tracks with sadness. There was loneliness in his eyes, but he is an extremely rational person. Know that the most important thing now is to save the world. If you are soft-hearted and let Captain America go. Maybe the only remaining people in the entire train will suffer. See this scene. The people who are watching the video feel as cold as if they have fallen into the bottom of the sea again, and at the same time extremely depressed. The superheroes of the past died in front of them one after another, how sad and despairing. They had said before that they wanted to see Captain America lead superheroes to save the world. But now it's time to say goodbye. The sadness is still spreading. The video also continues when Bucky turned around. Agent Carter, who had turned into a zombie, turned to look at Bucky. Just as she was about to attack. His whole body was shaking uncontrollably. Then there was a loud explosion into countless fragments and blood, and from it, a re-amplified Hope emerged. Just for a few minutes they lost Cat and Captain America. This is a heavy blow to them. Banner, who came after hearing the news, originally wanted to see the situation. However, when his eyes rested on Hope. He said with a pale face, "Hope, you seem to be in trouble again." When Banner's voice resounded. The camera freezes on Hope's shoulder. Everyone saw the bright red scar, and next to it was the virus containing blood of Agent Carter. Sad. Despair. Countless people watched the video blankly. It was as if my heart could no longer beat, and it was extremely depressing. Never thought of it. Just lost Cat. Now we have to lose Hope again. The sun sets. The train is still moving. On the vast sky. The shadow of the observer is observing all this. He still looks like he won't take action at all. Seeing this scene, people became even more anxious and restless, praying that there really was medicine in that place. They didn't want to see Hope turn into a zombie again. 153. Hope's touching moment. Use your own body to transport people. Hope is also infected. Do these superheroes really have to die one by one, compared to being bitten by a zombie? The infection and mutation rate of this kind of wound is much slower, but now that there is no antidote, it will still turn into a zombie. They must kill Hope. I hope there really is an antidote in that base. I don't want to see anyone die again. It was painful enough to watch the Avengers die in the last video. I didn't expect that it would be repeated in this video. I can't even breathe. I hope there is an antidote. Without an antidote, they are all finished. Video continues when the train is still running at high speed. Viewers watching the video are even more worried. And pray that the antidote can be successfully developed at that base. Otherwise, these people who only survive will still die one by one. This is what they least want to see. Heart rate increased. Body temperature abnormal. At this time. In video. Hope lay on the chair. Banner, on the other hand, was helping her measure her physical signs. It is clear her situation is getting worse. You never know when you will turn into a zombie. You and I both know what to do. Hope looked at Bruce Banner firmly. It was like announcing his death sentence to everyone. But Okoye on the side shook his head repeatedly. They've lost enough. Although he knew that Hope was leaving them. But even if it's just for a second, she cares. No. We have to persist until the last moment. Do you really want to take the risk? Hope sighed. In her heart. He is like a time bomb. Instead of persisting, it would be better to die early and happily. It's not about taking risks. It's about not giving up hope. At this time. Peter Parker comes to Hope's side. He's right. Chapter 259. As long as Hope doesn't turn into a zombie. It means there is still hope. And their hope is the train's destination. If only Hope could make it there. Maybe you can really survive. Yes. Little Spider is right. Even if there is a little hope, go for it. Instead of giving yourself a death sentence early. Hope, hold on. I will definitely be able to save you. Don't give up hope. Isn't the destination exactly hope? There must be an antidote there. Little Spider has really grown up, and now he can actually comfort people. But he is right. As long as you don't give up hope, there will be hope for everything. Viewers watching the video saw this scene. I sincerely lament the growth of little Spider, and prayed in his heart that Hope could make it to his destination. Maybe there really is an antidote that can save her. Anyone who has watched zombie movies knows that this is the secret to survival. Besides, isn't this your name? It must mean something, Peter Parker said optimistically at this time. Want to help desperate Hope find Hope. And hear his words. Hope also smiled weakly. She envied Peter Parker very much. At this time, it is possible to be so optimistic. Kit, how do you do it? Stay so optimistic, even after all this. Here. Hope's words. The smile on Peter Parker's face faded. As if he suddenly looked like a mature man of several decades, then replied, I think life has been training me, my parents, Uncle Ben, Mr. Stark, and now Happy. I have lost too much. But, Aunt May always said, they can no longer smile. If I can't continue to live with a smile, then it's not really living. Also, they want us to move on. Silence. Speechless. The expressions on the faces of countless people in the universe instantly froze. Originally, they thought that Peter Parker had such a nature that he was talkative, laughing, and even a little neurotic. But I didn't expect that he would actually say such a heartfelt sentence at this time. Yes, these lost people can no longer smile. Therefore, the living need to continue to live with a smile with their beliefs and always look forward and walk forward. This may be what those who have lost want to see. I thought Peter Parker had grown up, but I didn't expect that he had always been mature. But he just acted like a child. Maybe we should learn from him. What he said is really good. Yes, people always have to look forward, right? Maybe those who have lost think so too. Melodious and warm. The afterglow reflected outside the window. Sprinkled in Hope's face. It symbolizes hope and gives her the motivation to live. Peter Parker put it very well. She should also stay optimistic at this time. You shouldn't be so worried about the outcome that you give up. Banner on the side also put his palm on Peter Parker's shoulder. Smile at him. But at this moment. An anxious voice came from behind, instantly shattering their newly raised hopes. Hey, everyone, we have some bad news. The train has run out of fuel. Here. Kurt's words. The hopeful faces that everyone had just revealed instantly froze. Running out of fuel not only means that they will spend a lot of time traveling to the camp, but they may encounter a large wave of zombies along the way. And it also means that there is less time left for Hope. How far are we from Camp Caspian? The good news is, we are at least a little closer than we were before. Kurt's face was filled with helplessness and fear, but he forced himself to pretend to be calm. What about the bad news? Hurt? The first half of Kurt's sentence. Hope understands except for the bad news of running out of fuel. There must be another piece of bad news. The bad news is our walk from there. Kurt's face twisted into a twist of bitterness, very reluctant to say this, and pointed his finger out the window. At this time. The background music became dangerous, as if there was a huge stone hanging above countless people's heads, while the people watching the video felt depressed. Their whole bodies were trembling extremely, and every nerve was tense. They all looked out the window along the camera with bated breath. On the originally empty grassland, like densely packed ants, countless zombies gathered together, and they let out goosebumps-inducing roars that resounded throughout the entire space. Boom. Countless people saw this scene. His face was full of horror and disbelief. My heart felt like a huge wave had set off, and I couldn't calm down for a long time. Although they had just guessed that they would encounter a zombie wave if they walked. But who would have thought that zombies were so dense that they filled the entire field of vision, giving people a huge visual impact. Fuck, it's over. They're all dead. How can we live like this? Even the few zombies at Central Station are about to kill them. With so many zombies, aren't they looking for death? This wave is called human flesh express delivery. Isn't it given to zombies to eat? They also say there is hope. Damn it, I don't see any hope at all. That's right, this world is too miserable. Why do I feel that one world is worse than the other? The dog author is so abominable. That's right. Could it be that the whole army was wiped out again this time like in the last video? Countless people began to worry. Just now I was cheering, saying there was hope. But after seeing this dense wave of zombies they were all dumbfounded. Are you telling me there is hope? What he is talking about is despair. Okay. There is absolutely no hope. In an instant point it's not just the viewers of the video who feel this way. This is especially true for the only people who survived in the video. Their pupils dilated rapidly, their mouths widened, and they looked out the window. There is even a curse word that I don't know whether to say or not. It seems we have to serve in the zombie army. We can't get through it. Everyone looked solemn. I keep a point of view on this in my heart. That means they can't get through it at all. They can neither fly nor teleport. If they rush into it, the entire army will undoubtedly be annihilated. But you can pass over them. Just when countless people fell into despair, Hope's voice rang out. And the background music also changed from crisis to hope, bursting out like a blazing fire. Let countless people shine. Zero ask for flowers. That's right. Rampage may not work, but you can pass above them. In this open area, it is impossible to use Spider-Man. The only one I can rely on is Hope, who carries the meaning of hope. That's right. Hope is right. You can pass from above. Spider-Man's webbing has no way here. The only one we can rely on is Hope herself. But in this case, Hope will definitely die. Wait, what are you talking about? Why can you rely on Hope? Because Hope can shrink like Ant-Man. She can become a giant like him. Boom! Exclamation mark. Chapter 260. When the last barrage appeared on the dimensional platform. Countless viewers watching the video suddenly realized, that's right. Hope can grow into a giant, then you can lead others and pass over the zombies. But there is a problem. That's Hope. She must die. Although zombies cannot fly, when they see moving objects, they will instinctively pounce on them, even climb directly onto Hope's body. No. No. Hope. No. Listen to me. You all know my time is running out. If I have to die, I want it to be the solution to this mess I've created. Hope has been harboring guilt. If not, she wanted to get her mother back. Maybe there won't be such a zombie incident. Please, Hope, it's not your fault. I was so obsessed with bringing my mother back that I didn't consider the possible consequences of her coming back. I caused all this, and you have to end it. Hope's eyes were extremely determined. See her like this. No one said a word. Just with a moment of silence. Start getting ready. At this time. The background music becomes increasingly sad and desolate, as if hinting at the end of the hero. Along with the zombie wave, they rushed towards the train and kept eating it. A huge figure penetrated the carriage, closed its palms, and then stepped over the zombies every step forward. Hope kicked dozens of zombies away. But the same thing. Many zombies also took the opportunity to crawl onto her body. Countless people saw this scene. He cast a look of respect and admiration. The camera came to the inside of the palm. Peter Parker looked out through his fingers. I saw the sun in the distance shining on the entire earth and shining on his face through the gaps. It means hope. It means the hope brought by people named Hope. As the sun sets little by little. Hope finally led everyone to the base. And successfully placed them on the ground. But her body is crawling with zombies. He may fall down at any time. Peter, just smile. Just think it's for me. Okay, Hope. Finished. The huge body fell down in response. The whole earth shook violently. Then, under the sad eyes of Peter Parker and others, countless zombies swarmed in and gathered around Hope to gnaw at him. See this scene. Peter Parker and everyone else, as well as countless people watching the video, felt as if something was stuck in their throats and could not say a word. Sadness flowed into the eyes, sliding down their faces, except for Black Widow, Wanda, and Captain Marvel, that we saw in the last ranking video. They meet a heroine again. She is Hope, who represents hope. She will be remembered forever. Guys, why don't they climb the fence? However, just when Peter Parker and his group closed their eyes and bowed their heads in silence. Bucky noticed something. Those are the zombies outside the base fence. Why don't you crawl in when you see them? Hear his words. People who were watching the video also raised their heads and looked at the dimensional platform. The zombies outside the fence seemed to be immobilized. See this scene. The curiosity of countless people has been aroused again. What on earth is going on here? Could it be that we really found a solution? Factory 154. Trap! Exclamation mark. Vision's trap. Hope actually used her own body to transport us. Didn't she promise not to give up Hope, Parker, because she is Hope? At This time point real world point. When Spidey saw Hope dead point his face was full of disbelief point. He didn't expect that Hope would use this method to lead them past the zombie swarm. He originally thought he would summon an army of insects, like he did before, and eat all the zombies in front of him. This was a huge blow to him. From the beginning of the video to now point Hope looked after him like a sister, soothe him when he's feeling down point. Even if it's possible that the real world doesn't recognize Hope at all point, but there is also a place for her in little Spider's heart point, because he is so affectionate and righteous. Now not only is Mr. Stark gone, Happy is gone point, even Hope is gone point. It was tantamount to plunging him into despair again. What's more, the person in the video, how sad it must be inside. But what Banner said on the side point, it also gave him some comfort point. That's right point, in this desperate situation, Hope, like her name, brings hope point. He sacrificed himself to save everyone point. She's a superhero too. Hope, she's a superhero too. Wait a minute. Why don't the zombies move? Little Spider originally wanted to express his feelings, but was interrupted by Doctor Strange's exclamation point, so everyone looked towards the dimensional platform point. When they saw a group of zombies standing outside the fence of the base point, his face was full of shock and disbelief. I can't believe it at all. These zombies are standing there obediently. 633. How is this possible? You know from the video that these zombies are not only sensitive to smells, but also to movements. These remaining people are separated from them by an ineffective fence point. How could it not make their hearts flutter? It's not just them point. Everyone in the universe who is watching the video noticed this phenomenon. Wait, why are these zombies standing there like idiots? Hey, yes, I just noticed now. Why are these zombies standing outside the fence? Aren't they very good at climbing? Isn't Spider-Man's meat delicious? They won't even eat the lunch they were given. Could it be that the message was sent from this base? Could it be that? Could it be that? What are you talking about? I'll fucking chop you to death. Say it quickly. Could it be that someone in this base has really developed a drug or method to restrain zombies? Boom. The thought of this, the whole universe suddenly became uproar. Everyone's eyes widened and their mouths opened, looking extremely shocked. Yes, the zombies around the base and the zombies in the distance are completely in two states. Chapter 261. It's like being manipulated by something, or maybe they are afraid of something and don't dare to get close to this base. This means that this base that sends out messages of hope really brings hope to them. This is great news. Great. This telegram of hope is actually true. I knew it. I knew they would be able to succeed. Finally there is help. If it weren't for hope, maybe they still wouldn't see hope. Salute to Hope, who symbolizes hope. Pay tribute. The people who are watching the video finally feel relieved point. They are extremely looking forward to this group of survivors being able to save the world point. And at the same time, we pay tribute to Hope, who sacrificed for this. It is she who brings hope to these people. Salute to the hero. At this time, Peter Parker and others began to walk towards the base point, although Kurt was still nervously talking about some strange mage legends, but this does not affect everyone's desire to find out. Hey, just when Kurt was extremely nervous alone point, Spider-Man put a hand on his shoulder. It startled Kurt point, but that's it point. An arm was also placed on Spider-Man's shoulder, startling them both point. When the camera zooms away from the two people point, a familiar figure caught everyone's eyes. It's Vision. Vision? Holy shit. It's actually Vision. How could I forget it? That's right. Vision is a robot. It can't be infected. They are closer to success. That's right. Vision is very powerful. He will definitely be able to lead them to success. At this time point, viewers who were watching the video saw Vision's eye was immediately overjoyed. They never expected it point. It turns out that the person who sent the telegram was Vision, and realized that Vision cannot be infected by zombies. I felt reassured in my heart point. I believe that Vision will be able to lead the remaining people to victory. However, the Avengers members who were watching the video didn't think so. It's actually Vision. How is that possible? At this time point, Natasha frowned point. His face was full of disbelief point. She had previously speculated that this might be a trap point, but I didn't expect that it was Vision who sent the message. Could it be that I'm overthinking it? Everyone turned their attention from the dimensional platform to Vision point. They all found it incredible. You Don't doubt that vision will harm you, do you? This is impossible. Seeing everyone's suspicious expressions, Wanda retorted vigorously. Obviously he doesn't believe that vision would do something like this to set a trap. And Banner's words instantly left her speechless. Vision in this world might not, but in the zombie world, anything is possible. If Vision sincerely wanted to help others, he wouldn't have stayed here and sent out the telegraph. Don't forget, he won't be infected and can completely lead the survivors. That's right. Banner's words instantly woke up Natasha, who had just been confused. Vision's behavior and identity are completely different. Sending telegrams like this is more like bait, luring them over. But what she was confused about was what the purpose of the vision was. Then, what is the purpose of vision? When others heard Natasha's words, the expectation in my heart suddenly rose at this moment. They all looked at the dimensional platform again, hoping to get an answer. Vision. You are the real Vision. You can't even imagine how happy I'm to see a familiar face like yours instead of seeing those disgusting faces that were half eaten away. That's one of the nice things about being a robot. I'm not on their menu. Vision said calmly. In contrast to the excited Banner, it adds a touch of weirdness to the current atmosphere. Of course. This can only be seen by those who realize that this is a trap. People who don't realize it just think this is a warm moment of reunion after a long separation. So that's it. That's why you can contain those zombies. The mind gem is my origin. Zombies don't like the sub-frequency emitted by the gem. Soon. The scene changes. Everyone came to the base. And Vision also explained. The zombies outside will not enter here. It's because I don't like the sub-frequency emitted by the Mind Stone. Here this people watching the video also nodded. It seems that as long as Vision is around, these people will be safe, but they are even more looking forward to the so-called antidote in the telecom. After all, you can hide for a while, but you can't hide for a lifetime. The most important thing now is to create the drug and save the world. Does this mean zombie infection is a liver disease? As an authoritative biological scientist, Bruce Banner is very sensitive to this kind of information. He immediately expressed his suspicion. Something to do with the brain. Exactly. The virus can overload the limbic system of the brain. So as soon as I discovered the infected people's aversion to the Mind Stone, I was testing whether the Mind Stone's targeted energy emission to them can restore them to their original state. Did you succeed? When Bruce Banner asked this sentence, countless people who were watching the video also became nervous. Their hearts jumped into their throats, and they all swallowed, looking forward to the answer they most wanted to hear. Clang, clang, clang. Look, however, Vision didn't wait for a reply. A completely different voice resounded throughout the entire space. Everyone present was immediately startled. I have no idea who is talking. Wait, who is talking? Back. Is it a ghost? Spider-Man and Kurt's nerves were already very tense. At this time, he spoke out reflexively. And at this moment, that voice sounded again. Damn. Can someone help me turn around? My cool appearance is gone. I have to change this thing into an electric one. The words just fell. The camera panned to Vision ahead. I saw him turning the seat in one direction, and when everyone and the people watching the video saw what was on the seat, they all gasped, with expressions of extreme shock on their faces. Because of that seat, it was the head of Ant-Man Scott who was eaten first. What the hell? It's actually Scott. Wasn't he bitten by Hank? Why did he become like this? A head. It's Scott's head. Damn it. How did he survive? Wait. Logically speaking, he should have become a zombie. Although there is only one head left now, he can speak freely. Does this mean that the Vision is successful? Vision succeeded? Question mark. Chapter 262. When people see Scott's head 0, I was instantly associated with Vision. After all, at the beginning of the video, they saw Hank bite Scott. However, although Scott's body is gone now, his brain is intact. This means that he has been cured. As for who else but Vision? Excited. Countless people smiled, as if they had seen hope. It seems that Vision can really save this dire world from the zombie virus as they imagined. Scott, how could you become like this? I just lost some weight. Thank you for your concern, but don't worry, I won't let my head get infected. Sorry, I'm just used to telling sad stories with cold jokes, and Hank doesn't like my jokes very much. Used not liking. Oh my god, Hank, Scott, is a chatterbox point. Even if only one head is left, point still able to say so many words. When he thought about Hank turning into a zombie, point even he likes to force his smile, point I couldn't help but frown. My eyes were red. Everyone standing in front of him was silent and sad, point I saw Okoye stepping forward, point he knocked on the glass cover and said, hey, stop crying. It will make the hood fog up. Okoye's words were soft, point she has never been able to comfort people, point I also felt very distressed at this time, point except Hank. He also lost someone close to him. That was hope. The point is I cured him. At this time, point at this time, Vision's voice rang in everyone's ears, let everyone's eyes light up. That means you can also heal others, theoretically. Yes, but we need to connect to global satellites and broadcast the frequency of the Mind Stone to the whole world. Banner took over Vision's words, tell me the solution, but Vision said calmly again, it's theoretically possible, but it can't be done with humankind's current technology alone. You can do it in Wakanda. Wakanda is the last refuge of mankind on Earth. Okoye's voice was sonorous and powerful, point it makes countless people feel their blood boiling all over. It's like finding hope to survive in the end of the world. Incredibly exciting. That's right. The technology of the ordinary world does not work, point, but Wakanda can. Because their technology is far beyond that of today's world. I'm going to check the base to see if there is any 1.3 transportation. Bucky, who finally found a solution, immediately realized that he had to leave here and go to Wakanda, point. That will definitely require transportation, point. So he walked into the darkness alone, point. The Vision above saw this scene, point. Want to stop him. You can't find it, Bucky. Vision's voice echoed throughout the space, point. But Bucky didn't stop, point. However, just when countless people ignited hope, thinking that they would soon be able to see them setting off for Wakanda, point, the background music became extremely weird, as if something hidden in the shadows was coming to the surface, point. It surprised countless people, and a chill shot straight from their backs to the heavenly spirit cap. What's wrong? Why did the background music become like this? Damn it. Is there going to be another twist? This dog author is the best at this trick. How can this be reversed? We have found a solution. All we have to do is go to Wakanda. No, I felt strange from the beginning, but I never thought it was something strange. Now I finally know. It's Vision. Vision is so weird. Vision? What's wrong with him? Isn't he normal? Hey, wait. There is indeed a problem with Vision. Why is he still here without being infected by zombies? There is obviously a solution. And where is Wanda? Isn't he always with Wanda? Together, Spider-Man. Haha. You just realized it now. Because this is a trap. When Spider-Man's barrage caught everyone's eyes, countless people took a breath of cold air. It's scary to think about it. Everything seems so normal, but if you think about it carefully, you find that there is a lot wrong. Is this really Vision's trap? Point 155. Zombie Wanda, she is here. I finally said it, but it made me joke to death. Now you should believe this is a trap, right? At this moment, point, Spider-Man smiled triumphantly at Wanda, point. It was as if he had breathed out a bad breath, point, before, point. Because it's all everyone's guess, so I dare not jump to conclusions. But as the video continues, they feel more and more suspicious. There are obviously treatments available. Point, why is Vision still here and sending out messages? Doesn't this mean you understand that you want to lure others over? It's really a trap, although it seems very problematic. Why did Vision want to lure them here when Spider-Man is triumphant? Point, Tony Stark expressed his doubts. Although Vision's actions are very inconsistent with his own positioning, point, it's not in line with what a superhero should do, and it's very suspicious. But again, his motives were unclear, and it was completely impossible to imagine what he was luring them into. Point, after all, Vision is not Ultron. Point, no extreme thinking. Point, it's impossible to use this to kill all humans. Right, perhaps you will know the answer next. Look at this time, Nick Fury said, pointing to Vision in the video, point, because he noticed, point, when Bucky said he was going to find transportation. Point, Vision was obviously panicked. This means that there is a big problem. What is Vision hiding? Why do I sense a huge conspiracy? The Avengers members became nervous. I want to know what secrets are hidden in it. Trap? You say this is Vision's trap. Wait a minute. It really looks like a trap. Vision's words and deeds are a little different from what we saw in the video before 09. It seems that he is deliberately hiding something. Look, he's panicking. In video point when Bucky's figure entered the darkness, a hint of panic flashed through Vision's expression. Point it was obvious that Bucky had touched his secret. Point that's why it shows up like this. See this scene. Point countless people held their breaths and concentrated, with all the nerves in their bodies tense on a string, frantically wondering what the Vision was hiding. Is this really a trap? Chapter 263. Dark. Point silence. Point only seen in the video. Point Bucky held a long gun and a flashlight and advanced forward in a very standard special forces posture. Point constantly looking for transportation. Point 1 room, 2 rooms all covered with dust. Point empty. Point so keep pushing forward. Point at this time. Point the screen turned back to the hall just now. Point I saw Bruce Banner operating the instrument. Point but suddenly he seemed to have discovered something terrible. His face was full of shock and disbelief, and he frowned tightly. Based on these security records, we weren't the first to respond to Vision's signal. Boom, boom, boom. When Bruce Banner said these words, countless nervous viewers were in a state of shock and couldn't calm down for a long time. I felt an extremely strange chill, like a ray on my back. Holy shit, things are getting weirder and weirder. It turns out that someone else responded to this signal before them. Doesn't it mean that Vision's signal is a trap? Why do I feel that Vision is like a liar, deceiving others? And then, where are those people? I'm a coward, so don't scare me. Countless people were staring at the screen. Although they felt it was very strange, their anticipation reached its peak at this moment. It has now been determined that Vision's signal is a trap, but they want to know where those survivors went. Also, what exactly is Vision hiding? There are other survivors? So where are they? Just when Bruce Banner said these words, Peter Parker's eyes lit up. Point come over. I originally thought that this group of people would be the last survivors. Unexpectedly, there are other survivors coming here. Point but just when Peter Parker asked this sentence, point the camera zoomed in on Vision's face. Point I saw him frowning in an anthropomorphic manner, and his eyes seemed to reveal murderous intent. The hearts of countless people watching the video were a little shocked. These survivors are in danger. It's over. It's over. I seem to know the ending. They must be dead in the end. Is this still the Vision I know? Could it be that in this world, Vision has also become a murderer? That's wrong. Vision doesn't seem to have changed. Why would he do this? The more people think about it, the more impatient they become. Point my heart felt as if there were countless ants crawling all over it. Point at this time. Point the extremely weird music played in the background again. Point I saw the screen change. Point came to Bucky again. Point I saw him still groping in the dark, trying to find transportation. Point when he took a few steps forward, the flashlight in his hand shone on the ground in front of him. Point I saw pieces of human clothes placed messily on the ground. Point it adds a lot of horror to this already weird atmosphere. But at this moment, point the camera zooms into the distance. Point just as Bucky looked around, wary of his surroundings, a figure slowly stood up from the ground and let out a zombie-like roar, which was especially clear in the originally extremely silent space. Bang bang. 2 gunshots rang out. Point Bucky's eyes narrowed. Point I immediately felt someone behind me. Point and instantly fired 2 shots in that direction. Point all hit on the thick glass. However, when the camera followed his gaze and looked at this figure, point the whole universe was shocked. Because this zombie-like figure is none other than Wanda. What the hell? I just wanted to ask Wanda where she went. I didn't expect her to become a zombie. Wait. My mind is a little messed up. Wanda has turned into a zombie. Are these clothes on the ground left over by her? You mean Vision deceived others to give Wanda food? Shock. Extremely shocked. When people connect these questions together, they seem to have realized an extremely terrifying conclusion. That is why Vision set up traps and deceived people to use them as food for Wanda. It's actually like this. Vision, you, at this time point all members of the Avengers Dream who were watching the video looked at Wanda and Vision with wide eyes. Just now they were guessing what Vision's motive was for setting the trap. Point now they finally know. Point it turned out to be to find food for Wanda. This is simply insane. Stop You will anger her. Just. When countless people were extremely angry and nervous, a weak voice resounded, instantly attracted the attention of countless people. It also attracted the attention of Bucky in the video, because it's Chala's voice. Chala, Bucky, is it really you? When Bucky followed the sound and came to the curtain behind him. In an instant, he saw Bucky lying weakly on the bed. And one of his feet was wrapped in a bandage and was obviously missing. Who turned you into this? Bucky's face was filled with sadness, although he once fought against Chala when he was unconscious, but then he lives in Wakanda. The relationship between nature and Chala is not what it used to be. So, when he saw that Chala was missing a leg. I feel sad and angry at the same time. However, Black Panther Chala did not answer directly, but said anxiously, I don't have time anymore. We have to leave now. Hearing Chala's words, people watching the video clenched their fists. They know that the Black Panther became like this because of Vision. As for why leg is missing, they may have thought of the answer. Damn it. It's so abominable. How could you do this, Vision? Can't you cure this virus? That's right. To deceive others into using them as food. It's simply crazy. If they don't leave now, I'm afraid they really won't be able to leave. None of them can defeat Wanda and Vision, although countless people are extremely angry. But more of a worry. That's right. If you don't leave now. When Wanda and Vision join forces, they will be completely unable to resist. Eagerness, worry. It's not just a reflection of the heart of the person watching the video. It is also the inner portrayal of Bucky and Chala in the video. I saw Bucky supporting Chala and leaving here. And the camera also gave a close-up of Wanda. The fierce gaze also revealed a terrifying desire, as if he wanted to eat them all. The glass also broke at this moment. It made countless people's hearts tremble suddenly. It's like there is a cold-blooded animal lurking around. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 264. Goosebumps all over my body. At this time the camera came to Banner side. They all want to know where the survivors who came before them went. So they all looked at Vision. Hope he can give an explanation. I'm sorry, Dr. Banner. I really hope you didn't find us. Vision said. Floating in the air, his aura suddenly surged. It's like a war is about to begin. Banner saw this. Something felt wrong. A chill invaded his insides. The questions in my mind blurted out. Vision, what on earth is this place? Trap. 633. Before Vision could speak, Bucky and Chala appeared here. And answered the answer Banner wanted to know. That's right. It's the trap. Vision captured me in San Francisco. I thought he was saving me, but he was actually getting to cure it. Vision kept him alive as food for the zombie bride. Food. When Bucky and Chala revealed the truth. Everyone looked at Vision with wide eyes. His face was full of shock and disbelief. They never imagined that their teammate who once fought together, the former superhero, would do such a thing. That goth girl. I knew it. I just felt like something was wrong. Her name is Wanda, and I understand your anger, and I assure you that my actions, although annoying, are logical. I don't understand. You can cure that head but not her. She was so powerful that hell, the only thing treatment could do was control her and her desires. When Vision said it. Seems very logical. But Okoye didn't think so and asked directly, why not destroy her? I can't. Vision admits that he has selfish motives. Even if Wanda turns into a zombie. He still couldn't do it. Hear this. Bruce Banner stepped forward. There was confusion and anger on his face. You deceive innocent people into a complete scheme and let them die. But in the name of love, I still can't understand everything I did. Vision. He fell into confusion. Before that he thought that as long as he kept bringing food to Wanda, it would be fine. But now everyone's words, his heart began to waver. Is this really love? But at this moment the background music suddenly became terrifying, extremely compact and rapid, making people feel a huge pressure and making them breathless. I saw the camera turn. Came to the side door. The red light gradually becomes brighter. Boom. When the background music stopped suddenly a huge explosion sounded. I saw a figure appearing with red light It brings a huge visual impact to all viewers watching the video. Zombie Wanda, she is here. 156. Vision commits suicide for love. Shocked, disbelieving. Wanda, who was watching the video at this time, covered her mouth and looked at Vision. Never thought of it. This so-called trap. It was actually set up for her who had turned into a zombie. Although it seems so reasonable, but if you read it carefully, you can feel that this is a kind of love that distorts the three views. This can no longer be called love. Vision, if you love me, you should kill me with your own hands, like in the previous video. Wanda said softly. Think back to the video from the last ranking list. In order to prevent the entire universe from falling into crisis, she killed her beloved with her own hands. And in another world. But it's completely the other way around. Logically speaking. Vision should have killed her himself. But he didn't do that. Instead, he disregarded the safety of the world and even set up a trap for her, which was completely contrary to the behavior of a superhero. Wanda, maybe there will be a turn for the better. That Vision seems to have fallen into confusion. At this time, Spider-Man began to be optimistic and active again. After all, that's what the other Vision did. And he also noticed that Vision in the video began to become confused. It seems likely that he will change his mind. When everyone heard this, they also looked at the Vision in the video. Expect him to help the only survivor survive. But at this moment. The huge iron door was broken open. An extremely dazzling scarlet light emerged from it. A very oppressive figure came into their eyes. Suddenly, their hearts surged and boiled like a tsunami, because that's Wanda. It's the zombie version of Wanda, so powerful. Don't forget, she can even resist the frequency of the Mind Stone released by Vision. It can be seen that she can only be described as terrifying now. Novel. Exchange Group. 7,026,220. Bruce Banner remembers what Vision said in the video. I couldn't help but start to worry. If Vision doesn't change his mind at this time. Then all these surviving people will become Wanda's food. This is what he never wants to see. It's not just Bruce Banner, the other Avengers and countless others watching the video thought so too. If Vision doesn't stand up, the world will really end. Yes, Vision, think about it quickly. Is this still the Wanda you love? She has turned into a zombie. I really want to go over and give him a punch to make this bastard wake up. When has this been? And are you still struggling? Vision, wake up. Anxiety, worry. Countless people wanted to punch Vision at the other end of the video. So that he could wake up. But they knew they couldn't do it. And the zombie Wanda in the video started to move. Baba. Yak yak. In video. When Wanda shows up. Kurt, who was closest to her, kept repeating the legendary Major's name. And his whole body was so frightened that he could not move, as if filled with lead. Chapter 265. The next second. I saw crimson energy ripples wrapped around his body. Along with a burst of screams. Under the horrified eyes of everyone, Wanda grabbed him and disappeared from sight. Be careful. She is a cannibal. Scott reminded with an exclaim point, but unexpectedly it was still a step too late. When Kurt didn't make another sound. Sadness was written all over his face. It's not a good thing to watch your friends die. What's more, he only has one head now and can't fight. At this time. The background music sounded more oppressive and dangerous. Countless people watching the video feel like their breathing has stopped and they can hear their own heart beating. Even those of them watching the video can feel great oppression. Not to mention those people in the video. The thought of this, countless people began to feel sad because they know that this time many people will be lost again, and even those who will survive in the end may not be sure. Now they can only place their hope on Vision. Kyang. Kyang Kyang. Video continues. Bucky was seen holding Captain America's shield and pistol and kept shooting at Wanda, who was suspended in the air. However, all the bullets hit the iron plate controlled by Wanda, stirring up countless dazzling electric sparks and immediately falling to the ground. Flip up to avoid the flying iron plate. The battle is exciting. Spider-Man next to Bucky didn't hesitate at all. Came directly in front of Wanda. Then he shot out Spider Silk from both hands and directly entangled Wanda. Vision, we need your help. Get us out of here. Just in the short gap, created by Spider-Man. Bruce Banner looked at Vision anxiously. Hope he can change his mind. This is what countless people watching the video hope for. Vision didn't answer. Instead, he shifted his attention to Wanda in the distance. When General Okoye threw the spear in his hand at her, a burst of extremely strong scarlet energy burst out from Wanda's body, instantly destroying all the spider silk and deflecting the rapidly approaching spear. The gap in strength between the two sides is so great that there is no hope of winning at all. See this scene. Vision's originally hesitant heart immediately changed. That's right. He seemed to realize it. Wanda is too powerful. I'm even more sinful. So he nodded and replied, drive. Banner, I think you're right. Finished. Vision condensed the energy into the Mind Stone on his head and then released it in one breath. Suddenly, a yellow beam containing extremely powerful energy shot out from it. Boom. Earth-shattering explosions resounded, and when the yellow beam bombarded the ceiling overhead, a huge passage suddenly opened. Countless gravel and dust flew everywhere, seeming to merge with the scarlet light. See this scene. Countless people watching the video were as excited as if they had seen hope. I saw everyone in the video hurriedly exiting from the exit point. But at this moment, the background music suddenly became terrifying. Okoye's body, which was the last to go out, was wrapped in a scarlet halo just like Kurt. Obviously Wanda caught her from the air. Okoye, Chala, who was walking in front, exclaimed as the king of Wakanda. He has a very good relationship with his subordinates and Okoye, even more so. He is angry. He is helpless. Why did I lose a leg? Even if he wants to run towards Okoye with all his strength now, he can't. My king. Wakanda forever. Okoye's voice trembled. Her face never showed fear. She will always be a general and a warrior of Wakanda. Even before she died, she was saying the words that all Wakandan warriors would say, Wakanda forever. The words just fell. Okoye was captured by Wanda at an extremely fast speed. And the camera zooms high into the sky. I saw Vision using the power of the Mind Stone to collapse the base where they were just now, so as to stop Wanda for a while. Then slowly fell to the ground and said, time is running out. There's a jet in the hangar. Aren't you coming along, Bruce? Banner looked towards the hangar. Although I found hope of life. But like Spider-Man, he doesn't want to lose anyone again. Even if it was Vision who originally wanted to kill them. I want to atone for what I did. Here. The words of Bruce Banner. Vision lowered his eyes, deeply aware of his own stupidity. But compared to going with them and saving the world, to atone for your sins, he even hopes to atone for his sins by committing suicide. As for why, because he loves Wanda, he can't leave her. But I can't bear to leave her. Vision said this sadly. Suddenly, countless people watching the video had a bad premonition. Then under their shocked eyes, Vision raised his left hand, then placed it in front of his forehead, and used all his strength to pull the Mind Stone on it. But the whole space is shaking. This is especially true for everyone watching the video. They all stared at this scene with their mouths open. Totally can't believe it. Vision's so-called atonement turned out to be suicide. He actually committed suicide to atone. This is too extreme. Yes, if you want to atone for your sins, just save the world like a man and atone for your sins. What does suicide mean? Because he loves Wanda, he can't bear to leave her. Whether it's the previous video or this video, Vision has never changed his heart. That's why he committed suicide, to stay with Wanda forever. Countless people initially wondered why Vision would commit suicide to escape. Until the last barrage appeared. Only then did they understand. Vision wasn't running away. But I want to use this method to accompany Wanda forever. Although he is a robot. But he also has a heart that loves people. And the one he loves deeply is naturally Wanda. Whether it's this world or another world. Till death do us part. Boom. Earth-shattering explosions resounded through the sky. When Vision took off the Mind Stone from his head, an extremely terrifying ripple of yellow energy swept out in all directions with him as the center, setting off layers of impact waves, causing the momentum shocked. Wang heo people, and because they lost the frequency of the Mind Stone, those zombies standing outside the fence began to take action. Just when Banner picked up the Mind Stone, the scarlet light appeared. Again. Wanda rushed into the sky from the ruins. A roar that made the whole body tremble came from his mouth, as if to tear them all apart. The background music is full of crisis. causing countless people's adrenaline hormones to surge, and they start to worry about them again. At this time, Chapter 266. Bucky cocked his pistol. He knew that this thing would have no effect on Wanda. But his purpose of doing this was certainly not to injure or kill Wanda. But delaying time. See this scene. Bruce Banner shouted anxiously, "Bucky, run." Bucky was very calm and said calmly, "The way he holds Captain America's shield looks a lot like Steve." Then turned around. He looked at Wanda firmly. When Bruce Banner and others heard this, even though their hearts were extremely heavy and sad, they did not hesitate at all. Don't waste the time your teammates have fought for with their precious lives. Then he quickly ran towards the hangar. Saw this string of scenes. The people who are watching the video feel extremely heavy in their hearts. I didn't expect Bucky to die too, but they know. As long as the Mind Stone is in the hands of Bruce Banner and others, there must be hope. 157. Rampage. Wanda. Banner finally transformed into the Hulk. Silence. Speechless. The members of the Avengers all looked forward in stunned silence. The Vision in the video turned into a grey body again. They immediately thought of the scene where Vision died. How similar. How sad again. He said he couldn't kill Wanda, but why didn't he hesitate to take action? It was like this before, and it's like this now. Vision really loves Wanda so much. At this time. Bruce Banner choked up a little. It was completely unexpected that Vision would commit suicide to atone for his sins compared to leaving Wanda to save the world. He would rather stay with Wanda. This kind of deep love. It moved him. Vision, do I really deserve this? Wanda's eyes were red. You must know that the person in the video has turned into a zombie, and he also has a strong desire to kill. It's no different from the monsters we encountered before, but Vision not only did not take action to kill himself. And he also sets traps to satisfy his desires. Even after realizing that he was lost, he chose to commit suicide to atone for his sins in order to stay by his side. There are so many of them. Enough to write a love novel to express his love. I would do it for you thousands of times. Vision responded softly. Unlike Wanda, who ultimately killed herself for the safety of the world. He is more willing to give everything for Wanda. Even committing such a heinous act. He is willing to. Fortunately, in the video, he eventually found his way back and committed suicide. Otherwise, join forces with Wanda. Everyone present will not be spared. Wait, look, but just when they thought Bruce Banner in the video could escape. But he never thought that without Vision, he would activate the Mind Stone. The zombies that were standing outside the fence also started to move, and Wanda also got rid of the ruins and floated in the air, full of tension and crisis. These are terrible. Even if Bucky stands in front, it will be difficult for them to escape. 637. When Bucky in the video decided to sacrifice himself to save others, the worry on Bruce Banner's face only increased a lot. Because Bucky is always human. Whether facing zombies or Wanda. They're all just cannon fodder. Anyone who can save them now is basically dead. In an instant. Despair spread not only among the Avengers, the same spread among the people watching the video in the entire universe. Bucky, the look in his eyes makes him really miss Steve. Yes, he plans to sacrifice himself to save others, but it seems to be of no use. Look at Wanda. She is powerful enough to kill Bucky in an instant, and with so many zombies, they are doomed. This is the end of the world. One superhero after another is dying in front of us. It's so heartbreaking. Hey, pray for them. Maybe there is hope. After all, I have obtained the Mind Stone. As long as I go to Wakanda, I can change everything. Only Spider-Man is the only one left who still has some fighting ability. They are simply a combination of the old, the weak, the sick, and the disabled. Can they really survive? I don't believe it. Yes, now we have the Mind Stone. As long as you can leave here, you can go to Wakanda. But not many people who are watching the video believe that these people can survive. After all, the only people left now are Spider-Man, Scott said, Black Panther who lost a leg, and Bruce Banner who cannot transform. Completely unable to withstand Wanda and the hordes of zombies coming like a surging tide. Video continues when Bucky walked towards Wanda. Wanda didn't pay attention to him. Instead, it shows sadness. Then he landed firmly next to Vision's body. The ferocious face seemed to show sadness and anger. See this scene. People's hearts trembled. His face was full of shock and disbelief. They never expected it. They have all turned into zombies. Wanda actually still loves Vision deeply. What a shocking scene. But I also realized it at the same time. Bucky in front of me must have died miserably. Papa. Gunfire rang out. Bucky fired several shots at Wanda. The tongue of the gun burst into flames, and several brass bullets instantly pierced the sky and flew in front of Wanda. But under the control of the scarlet energy ripples around her, she seemed to be still and instantly rebounded, heading towards Bucky. Clang. Clang clang. The sound of metal colliding sounded. Bucky raised the shield in his hand, and after blocking the bullet, he used his peripheral vision to look at Bruce Banner running towards the hangar in the distance. After making sure they entered. There seemed to be a happy smile on his face. He even rushed towards Wanda without fear. Keep shooting. Buy more time. Ho ho. Wanda let out an angry roar like a beast, turned her ferocious face toward Bucky, and stared at him with two flashing red eyes. Then she slightly raised her right hand, and the terrifying scarlet energy surged out and condensed in it. He grabbed Bucky's body, directly lifted him into the air, and suddenly threw him forward. Following a perfect parabola, Bucky was thrown far away by Wanda and landed heavily among the zombies in the distance. At this time, the background music is sad and full of despair, and the despair is full of crisis. Wanda glanced suddenly. The camera follows her gaze. Bruce Banner's figure just entered the hangar. It's over. It's over. I know they can't run away. Hell, she still found out. Chapter 267. Fuck, is this time just like before? The whole army will be wiped out again. Is there no hope? No, you can't expect Spider-Man to fight Wanda. Desperate and unwilling. It was originally thought that Bucky could distract Wanda. Then buy time for Bruce Banner and others to escape. But it was just as they expected. Even if Bucky sacrifices himself. But the time we can gain is still too little, and Bruce Banner and others were discovered by Wanda. Video continues. When Bruce Banner came back and opened the hangar door, the sky showed large swaths of fiery clouds. It was as if the blood was stained red. Full of sadness and despair. But at this moment. The sound of the background music suddenly rose, and the sound of the violin was as hard stopping as claws scratching on the glass, with a whistling sound that broke through the air. Wanda flew in front of Bruce Banner in the lightning flash, opened her terrifying mouth, and bit him fiercely. Silence. Speechless. Many people have closed their eyes. They knew without even thinking that Bruce Banner could not escape the fate of becoming a zombie. But what they didn't expect was Bruce Banner's left arm suddenly turned green, and the hard skin even Wanda couldn't bite through instantly threw Wanda away and landed heavily on the ground. Is it Hulk? Countless people saw this scene. His face was full of excitement and excitement. They never expected it. At this critical moment, Hulk actually saved Bruce Banner. Doesn't it mean that Hulk also felt the crisis and was willing to transform? Hulk. It's Hulk. He should also feel the danger. I knew Hulk was still there. Banner should be able to transform now. Great. I see hope again. Originally, they thought. No one among these survivors can fight against Wanda. But Hulk's sudden change. Let them see hope again. Good. Rescue, big guy, Bruce. Banner said with lingering fear. The next second, a smile appeared on his face. Now he can finally fight, instead of always standing behind others like before. He is a superhero. The camera turned. Came inside the plane. Chala sat in the driver's seat. Start operating. And Spider-Man and Scott sat aside. Guys, there is danger coming from behind. It's straight ahead. But you're right, it's dangerous, very dangerous. When the camera follows Spider-Man's gaze and looks forward. Countless people also saw this scalp-numbing scene. I saw Wanda walking in front, and behind her were tens of thousands of zombies, all of them roaring. This sense of oppression seemed to spill out of the screen, making countless people's whole bodies tremble, and their hearts became even more intense. It was surging and beating like a huge wave. Even more worried and anxious. Pray they survive. Even one person will do. I can help you resist for a while. But at this moment. Bruce Banner did not choose to follow them away. Instead, he chose to use his own life to clear the way for this plane. Hear this, the little spider said anxiously. No, Dr. Banner, we can't leave you. I can't lose any more friends, so take revenge for us, Bruce. Banner raised his eyebrows. To be honest, very handsome. He handed the Mind Stone in his right hand to Spider-Man, then turned and left. The camera turned. When Bruce Banner leaves the airplane cabin, a smooth transition appears. I saw him walking out of the hangar alone. Okay, big guy, I'm still counting on you. The situation is critical, and it's your turn. And I say, wouldn't it be cool if you just act like a good guy for once? Facing the dense zombies, he rushed towards the zombie group while whispering, and was surrounded by countless zombies. At the same time, the plane on the other side is ignited and ready to take off at any time. Nervous, worried. Countless people held their breath and concentrated. Staring at the mountains of zombies in the video. They are looking forward to and praying to see the Hulk again. Roar. Sudden. In the excited eyes of countless people, a roar resounded through the sky. The mountains of zombies disintegrated instantly, and the huge figure of the Hulk was revealed. Constantly bombarding the surrounding zombies, the momentum created can only be described as amazing. Hulk, he succeeded. It worked. He really did it. Hulk, my hero. I knew you wouldn't let me down. It's really cool to be a good person this time. Very cool. Countless people were excited at the same time. Spider-Man and others in the video are equally excited. They knew the Hulk was going to show up, but now is not the time to get excited. They know that the most important thing now is to live well, and they cannot let down these people who sacrificed for this. Set off. In the expectant eyes of countless people. Chala growled. Then push the joystick. 158. 5 gem zombie destroyer? Question mark? This is the end of his life. Yes. I knew you didn't give up on me, Hulk. It's really cool to be a good guy for once. Excited. Bruce Banner, who was watching the video, raised his arms and shouted. Originally, he thought that he in another world could only hide behind other people and could do nothing. But when he saw the Hulk's huge body, not to mention how excited I was, although he knew that his other self would die. But he thinks it's worth it. It can allow Spider-Man and others to leave with hope. He died without regrets. What's more, as he said in the video, it's really cool to be a good guy for once. Once upon a time, Hulk said that the Earth hated him. Now that he is in danger, Hulk still fights with Bruce Banner without any hesitation. At this time there was a little appreciation in Natasha's beautiful eyes, although her current relationship with Bruce Banner is not as shown in the previous video. But it is undeniable. The Hulk is a superhero. He is a superhero who takes action in times of crisis. Every time you encounter a crisis that is difficult to solve, you can always see the Hulk. Perhaps he is violent and destructive. But this time, he's pretty cool. Isn't he? I don't want to lose any more friends. He said what I wanted to say too. In contrast, everyone is excited to see hope. Spider-Man Peter Parker is more touching and sad. Chapter 268. That's right. Just like him in the video. He didn't want to see his friends who had fought alongside him die one by one. When Hope died, he was praying that no more people would die. Unexpectedly, first Kurt, Okoye, Bucky, and now Dr. Banner. So many people died in this short period of time. It made his heart feel as painful as a knife. What's more, it's me in the video. So he shifted his attention to the dimensional platform. I saw the Hulk constantly attacking the zombies around him. With each punch, the groups of zombies instantly turned into blood mist. The power that exploded even set off ripples of airwaves in circles, and even the ones behind him were blown away. The zombies were knocked to the ground. Seeing the Hulk like this, the zombie wander in the distance let out a roar. You can feel her overwhelming anger and murderous intent. It was as if he wanted to be buried with his lost lover. Then he mobilized the surging scarlet energy in his body, and his whole body instantly burst into dazzling red light. Then it condensed on his hands, rose into the air, and flew towards the Hulk. Roar. The Hulk didn't show any signs of weakness, and after letting out a deafening roar, he ran towards Wanda, and with every step he took, the whole ground shook violently, and then he concentrated all his strength on his right fist. In the flash of lightning, he flew in front of Wanda, and blasted out fiercely. Boom. Astonishing dull sound of impact resounded when the Hulk's right fist suddenly collided with Wanda's right fist wrapped with scarlet energy. The energy that exploded caused ripples, as if the entire space was filled with energy. It trembled and set off circles of sand and dust waves. From a high altitude, with them as the center, they swept in all directions, as if covering a radius of 10 kilometers. The scene looked extremely shocking. At this time, Chala noticed that the road ahead was no longer blocked by zombies, then pushed the joystick hard. With the roar of the engine, the plane rushed out of the hangar and flew into the sky. We made it. Really made it. Scott shouted happily. It was as exciting as seeing the sun again. Peter Parker on the side said with great concern. Don't say it too soon. Don't you know that's how it is in horror movies? At this time, Peter Parker is no longer the optimistic Peter Parker after this hope event. He has a pessimistic attitude towards everything. I even thought about the horror movies I had seen before. Often, just when you think you have escaped, you will be plunged into a desperate situation again. At this time, the background music changed from exciting and promising to scary and dangerous. The camera is seen looking from Peter Parker's eyes out the window. The sky has turned dark. The zombies below were filled with darkness, and under the horrified eyes of countless people, a huge figure stood up from the ground and blocked the plane. It was obviously Hope, who had sacrificed himself before. Fuck you, Peter Parker, you chromoth. Hiss. It's actually Hope. Could they have been stopped by Hope? I believe that Chala's skills will definitely be able to evade Hope. Countless people held their breath and concentrated. Although it's a lot like scolding Spider-Man for his crow's mouth. But now I want to know more about whether Chala can fly a plane and avoid Hope. Hope. Scott's face was full of shock and disbelief. I never expected that Hope would turn into a zombie. And it's a giant zombie. Hope. As the plane flew over Hope. Scott yelled again. Don't look at how optimistic he is usually. But he's also a guy with feelings. Seeing Hope like this, he felt great sadness flowing upstream, and the expression on his face turned into pain, frustration, and unwillingness. It's okay if Hank turns into a zombie. Even his daughter, his lover, turned into a zombie. How could he accept this? He felt as if he had lost everything. As the plane got away from her little by little, Scott's pain increased little by little. But just when countless people thought their planes could leave safely. Sudden, Hope stretched out his left hand and grabbed the entire plane. It's like it's caught in people's hearts, trembling suddenly, so depressing that they feel like their breathing has stopped. Are they really going to reveal their presence here? Speed up. Chala didn't hesitate, just push the joystick again. I saw that the flames on the tail of the aircraft became more intense, and the huge thrust generated directly broke away from Hope, causing waves of roaring sounds to break through the air, and it moved rapidly towards the distance. Cool. See this scene. Countless people breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at Hope getting further and further away from the plane. They share Scott's grief. I'm sorry, she sacrificed herself in order for us to get the antidote. This is the second time she has saved me. She is such a person. Scott didn't say anything too sentimental. In his heart. Hope is so brave, generous, and a superhero, accompanied by soft, soothing music. Just like flying freely in the sky, countless people felt that the negative emotions in their hearts were swept away. Instead there is hope. It is the hope of victory. Estimated arrival in 20 minutes. When Chala said these words, Scott once again started to use his cold jokes to liven up the atmosphere. But Spider-Man's mood did not improve. From just now to now, he has been very sad. Ah, you okay, Mr. Stark invited me to join the Avengers last year. I turned him down at that time. Now they are gone, and I'm still alive. Spider-Man grew sadder as he spoke. It always feels like I'm in a dream. He had seen so many people die these days. Zero ask for flowers. It was a huge blow to him. Even want to say. Why can I, such a weak person, be alive while these more powerful superheroes are dead? In Wakanda's culture, death is not the end, as long as we always remember they are still with us. Besides, it's not all gone. I'm still here, and you still have me. Chala and Scott comforted Spider one after another, make it feel very warm. Then joked, "Sorry, I forgot, you are also an Avenger." Yes, this is my highlight moment. Although I haven't officially joined, mentally I have. That's right. The Avengers are never a team of people, but a belief. As long as the world needs it. Anyone with such beliefs will be a member of the Avengers. Okay. The world needs a little spirit. As long as we bring the Mind Stone to Wakanda, we can save the world. Chala also said this with great excitement. It is also extremely exciting for Spider-Man, Scott and countless people watching the video. That's right. Just bring the Mind Stone to Wakanda. Then use global satellites to broadcast the frequency of the Mind Stone. Maybe it can really save the world as imagined before. The thought of this, the anticipation of countless people suddenly rose, and they were extremely excited. The camera slowly zooms out. Chapter 269. The sun sets. The plane flew towards a place covered by an energy shield. I immediately recognized that it was Black Panther's hometown and the only pure land in the world, Wakanda. Even in the most difficult times, human beings will spare no effort to save their homeland, even if the cost may be the entire universe. However, just when countless people were excited, the voiceover sounded. And there was a suspenseful sound in the background. It immediately gave countless people goosebumps all over their bodies. Wait, even if the cost may be the entire universe? What do you mean? What's going on with this music? I'm getting goosebumps all over my body. Is there a twist to this? Impossible. Isn't this already in Wakanda? How could there be a reversal? The author must have done it on purpose. He is the best at doing this. That's right. Black Panther and others are almost arriving in Wakanda. As long as you follow the instructions, you can save the world. How could there be a reversal? Moreover, nowadays, most of the superheroes who have been infected and become zombies have died. Even if those Wandas and the like were not dead, how could they climb mountains and wade through rivers to reach Wakanda? So they all agreed that there could be no reversal. The camera zooms in. Outside the Wakanda energy shield, countless zombies bared their teeth and clawed, making low roaring sounds. They were all blocked out. See this scene. It makes people convinced that there is no possibility of any reversal. However, at this moment, a smooth transition appears. I saw that the background of the snarling zombies had changed. No more Wakanda. More like the center of the city. But the strange thing is, all these zombies gathered together. It was as if there was a more advanced zombie leading them. The camera slowly zooms out. When a familiar huge figure came into people's eyes, the whole universe was shocked. They finally know why the author puts out such music. Why do these zombies seem to have senior zombie leaders? Because of this figure. It's the zombie tyrant. Still Thanos with 5 gems. Damn it, he's done. Factory 159. Ant-Man gets a reward? Question mark? Absolutely unlucky. Thanos. It's Thanos. I said something is wrong. It turns out that Thanos has also turned into a zombie. Thanos. He actually has 5 Infinity Stones. Oh my god. Will the previous war in Wakanda be repeated in the future? Wakanda. Is this last pure land of mankind about to fall? Damn it, no. Need to guess. The ending will definitely be the same as the previous battle, maybe even more tragic, because the superheroes are no longer here. Boom, boom, boom. The faces of countless people were full of horror. They all gasped, feeling their scalps numb and their backs cold, and their hearts boiling like a huge wave. Just now they were thinking about any possible reversal point, but when they saw the zombie Thanos, they immediately remembered that in the previous war in Wakanda, Thanos also took away the Mind Stone, and then successfully wiped out half of all life. And this time. But it's still the case. Thanos still only lacks the Mind Stone. Crisis. A huge crisis. They can already imagine at point Thanos leads countless zombies into Wakanda. Then sees the soul gem that symbolizes hope and is stained with countless blood. Kills Spider-Man and others. Let the entire Avengers be completely destroyed. 637 Earth.S.H.I.E.L.D. When the Avengers members who were watching the video saw this scene. It also showed fear and surprise. I used to think that the return of Spider-Man, Scott and Chala to Wakanda meant that the world was about to be saved point, but they never expected it at this time point. There is such a terrifying existence as zombie Thanos. Originally there were very few combatants on Earth who had not turned into zombies. Now there is an extra 5 gem. Zombie Thanos. It exploded in their hearts like a deep sea bomb, setting off turbulent waves. Wave after wave hit their chests, feeling deep despair. Thanos, I didn't expect that the world would still be unable to escape this nightmare. Tony Stark slammed his right hand on the table point. Although I turned into a zombie and died in that world point, but he felt that as long as the little spider was still alive, it meant there was still hope point, and Spidey finally got the Mind Stone and returned to Wakanda with Chala point. This makes him feel that Spider-Man can inherit his will and save the world point, but now the appearance of Thanos has shattered his idea point. It can be said that it was completely shattered point. It's like watching your son escape from a tiger's mouth, but unexpectedly entering a cave where death is certain point. This is why he is so angry and unwilling. Mr. Stark, maybe there is a reversal. Little Spider comforted him with a guilty conscience point. To be honest point, no matter how optimistic he is, seeing this scene makes me feel desperate. In the video, when zombie Thanos raised his left hand and revealed 5 Infinity Stones, it brought a huge impact to his soul. Know that with just 1 Power Stone point Thanos slaughtered almost everyone on the Asgard ship point, and with 4 gems, you can single-handedly fight against the attacks of Doctor Strange, Iron Man and many other heroes. What about the 5 gems? Although in the previous video, Thanos came to Wakanda after obtaining the Time Stone, he did not show his true strength point, just use the Time Stone to reverse and restore the Mind Stone point. But Spider-Man knows very well that Thanos, who possesses 5 Infinity Stones, is a god to him, absolute god, and he is just immortal after all. Defeating Thanos is just a fantasy. Reversal. Ahead plus Chala, who has lost his legs. I don't think there will be a reversal this time. Nick Fury sighed deeply point. He who never gave up hope said these words at this time point. It shows how desperate he is about this situation. The apocalypse in this video is much more desperate than what I've seen before, but that doesn't mean there's no twist. I think Vision's death will definitely bring hope. Maybe it will really happen later in the video. Just like what this little bug said, there is a reversal. Wanda retorted point. She didn't want Vision to die in vain, like he did before, making Thanos a wedding dress. So I really support Spider-Man's words. I think there will be a reversal later. Hear the words. Everyone turned their attention to the dimensional platform again point. I want to know if there will be a reversal later. It's not just them point. Countless people in the universe who are watching the video are also staring at the screen, but at this moment point when the Infinity Stones in the hands of the zombie Thanos burst into dazzling light point, the picture freezes at this scene, and the ending song plays at the same time, containing the ultimate sadness and despair, like a tornado sweeping through the vast wilderness, taking away the only remaining life. Chapter 270. But it suddenly became melodious, as if running freely in the boundless wilderness, implying hope. Silence point. Speechless. The expressions on the faces of countless people in the universe who were watching the video instantly froze point. They didn't expect that the video this time would end abruptly at this moment point, like the blank space in a painting point. Give them unlimited imagination point. It seems to echo the theme, everything is possible. If it had ended so abruptly before, I would have scolded the author, but this time, I feel lucky. Stop here. Paired with this kind of music, it's really amazing. Is the author's editing beginning to favor artistic blanks? But that's okay. At least I don't want to see little Spider die. Although, I think everyone in the back must be dead. It is possible, or not necessarily. As long as I don't see it with my own eyes, I can firmly believe that they are definitely not dead and have defeated Thanos. This doomsday is the worst one so far. Instead of giving me an ending, I prefer this kind of blank space. Yes, this is probably the first time the author has used this artistic technique. It seems that the author's editing skills have become stronger again. The video ends abruptly here point. It did not arouse strong dissatisfaction among the audiences before point. On the contrary, it gives them unlimited space for imagination point. They all praised the author's editing techniques. Perhaps most of them thought the ending must be as hopeless as before point, but as long as they don't see it with their own eyes, they have enough confidence to believe that little spider and others have won, compared to giving them an ending directly. They like the author's blank space even more. Phew, this author really understands me. See this scene. Tony Stark also breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, he really didn't want to see Spider-Man die. That image was still stuck in his mind for a long time. This kind of blank space technique really made his eyes shine. I never thought that the author would do this. Good. He liked it very much. I didn't expect the author to use the technique of leaving blank space. It feels pretty good, and with this kind of background music, there is more room for imagination. I'm looking forward to the world behind, whether it will be more exciting. Natasha stretched out her body in a flirtatious manner. She didn't know why she had a premonition that she might be there in the next World Zero, and she always remembers the scene of Doctor Strange and Peggy sharing the same frame. I feel like there must be some big event in the world behind, so she is very much looking forward to it now. Ding. Candidates are being randomly selected to receive rewards, but at this moment the dimensional platform ding sound suddenly sounded. Awaken the members of the Avengers and countless people in the universe from their blank imaginations. Let them instantly lift their spirits. It's such an exciting time again. Who will get the reward this time? I think it's Spider-Man. No. I think it should be Hope. She represents hope. That's why I think she will get the award. It's the Mind Stone that represents hope, right? Maybe Vision can get a reward. I also think it's Vision. After all, he discovered that he can use the Mind Stone to treat this virus. I think the Hulk is more likely, because the Hulk is my hero. He is invincible in my mind. Don't make trouble. I think it's Chala. Whether it's the previous video or this video, the final battle may have taken place in Wakanda. How many sacrifices did Chala have to make? So it must be him. Scott, wait, didn't anyone think it could be me? Huh? You? Who are you? He seems to be Ant-Man, but I don't seem to have seen the video of him from beginning to end. Yeah, I haven't seen the video of this little Ant either. Who is he? How did he become a member of the Avengers? Want to cry but no tears at this time. Scott in prison finally used his connections to send a barrage point, but I didn't expect that it would arouse doubts from countless people in the universe. But this is not surprising. After all, from the beginning of the inventory video to now, although he appears in it, but there are not many shots, and there is no sense of presence. So many people didn't notice him. Even he himself doesn't know why he will become Ant-Man in the future. Who told him that he is still in prison? Hahaha, it's just you, Scott. Save it. You're just a thief. Yeah, Scott, I suspect that you must have had some bad luck to become Ant-Man in the future. But to be honest, even if you become Ant-Man, your sense of existence is still so low. You can only talk through words. Tuberculosis is here to find a sense of presence. Hahaha. 1.3 aside. Countless inmates were laughing crazily. Scott's face was full of embarrassment. He even felt that he was humiliating himself by sending the barrage just now. The previous inventory video exposed those superheroes. Shield will contact them one by one. Only he. No one came to him from beginning to end. Is it true, as these people say, that becoming Ant-Man in the future is just a matter of bad luck, and among the Avengers, the sense of presence is very low, so low that they don't even want to touch you? Maybe I shouldn't ask. Scott. Side. Prepare to return to your cell. But at this moment, the voice of the dimensional platform sounded again. Ding. Congratulations to Scott Lang for winning the award. Please accept the award. Scott Lang. When people hear this sound, everyone's eyes widened, with expressions of shock and disbelief on their faces. Why didn't they think of it? Among so many candidates, it turns out that this chatty talkative guy actually got the reward. This guy's definitely out of luck. Damn. I got a reward. Scott froze on the spot. Staring blankly at the dimensional platform. 160. Choose 2 out of 3 rewards. The whole universe is shocked again. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Why did this Scott get the award? He's not a superhero. That's right. The ones who have received rewards so far are all superheroes. Who is this little Ant like him? It's so abominable. Only now do I know that Scott is a thief. Does he deserve this reward? Man, He deserves it, because he is also a superhero, otherwise he would not be able to join the Avengers, and it was he who helped me obtain the cosmic cube in the future, even if it was snatched away by Loki. Spider-Man, yes, both I and Mr. Stark have been questioned by you, but the facts have proven that you are all wrong. So I believe that, even if there is no video of Mr. Scott's deeds, I believe that he must be a superhero. Doctor Strange, never look at the world through the crack in the door. Maybe he isn't man, and has a low sense of existence, but maybe he also has an unknown side. Captain America, have you forgotten who came up with the method of time travel? Without him, perhaps in the future, we would not be able to reverse that ending. Star-Lord. That's right, I'm in prison now, but that doesn't stop me from saving the entire galaxy in the future. Just when countless people believed that Scott did not deserve the award, Scott himself fell into self-doubt. The Avengers stood up. Although in previous videos Scott's screen appearances are few and far between. Maybe there is no so-called highlight moment. But the Avengers remember it well. When you are helpless in the future. It was Scott who gave them hope and travel with it to retrieve the gems so in their minds. Scott is a superhero, although my identity may be a bit sensitive now. But they believe that everything is possible in the future. At this time. Saw this scene in 09. Scott's eyes were red. He had thought that he was really not accepted by the Avengers. Now I realize he was wrong. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 271. In fact, the Avengers have always noticed him and recognized him as a superhero. As for why I didn't contact him. I'm afraid it's also because Ant-Man's technology is in the hands of Hank Pym. I still don't know Hank Pym at all. At this time. Scott's figure appeared in the dimensional platform. It can be seen that he was flattered and very excited at the same time. Because he knows my precious daughter must be watching the dimensional platform. For him, there is nothing more proud than this. Scott, can this guy inherit my mantle in the future? Maybe more things need to be verified. At this time. The other side. Hank Pym, who had already decided to hide Ant-Man's technology, was sitting in front of the TV watching dimensional platform. Once upon a time. He is also an agent of SHIELD, but the wife disappeared behind the quantum realm. Because of her mission. He stopped asking about SHIELD's affairs. If it weren't for his daughter, he wouldn't have died. Like in the video. Maybe he will really be like the previous blackened video. Kill all Avengers members with one person's power. But now. His focus was entirely on the man named Scott. He had been curious before about why this man had his own Ant-Man technology. He realized it later. Perhaps Scott has inherited his mantle. But you must know that he is an extremely strict person. He values his own skills even more. It is impossible to hand over this technology easily, so this Scott may really become a superhero in the future. As the Avengers member said, it seems that I will have a bond with this guy in the future, but I'm very curious about how this guy inherited your mantle, and has my mother really turned into a zombie? A side. Hope came to Hank's side. Although the relationship between father and daughter was tense before. But after watching so many videos, Hope also realized his father's love for him. So it's moving in a good direction now. At this time, she had finished watching the video. My heart has not calmed down until now. She once thought her mother had really disappeared. But now this zombie world appears. Let her see Hope again. But that was what she was worried about. Maybe my mother really turned into a zombie. Let's not talk about whether your mother really turned into a zombie. Just entering the quantum realm is a choice with no return. Your mother was also trapped there in this way, but the appearance of this guy seems to have changed everything. Hank Pym's eyes glowed. Once on a mission. He watched his wife shrink into the missile with his own eyes. The separation was so long that he almost gave up. But the emergence of this zombie world let him realize that in the near future, he may really be able to invent technology that can enter and exit the quantum realm, and the key to all this lies in Scott Lang. The appearance of this guy must have turned everything around, so now he is looking forward to how this guy became a superhero and is inextricably linked to him. Then he shifted his attention to the dimensional platform and said softly, maybe after this guy chooses the reward, he will trigger the hidden video. Hope's eyes lit up when he heard this. She also wanted to see how this thief grew up to be a superhero, but the most important thing now is to see what rewards this guy will get. Option 1. Storage ring. With 10,000 cubic meters of storage space, anything you put in it will retain its state at the moment before it was put in, and it can be collected and retrieved with just your thoughts, without any weight. Option 2. Talking spirit dream taper. Spiritual speaking spirit can drag the enemy into a dream. Even if others realize that it is a dream, they cannot escape. It can kill the enemy in the dream, causing the enemy's spiritual death. If the enemy is in a dream, if you believe you are being killed, you will die in reality. Option 3. Choose one reward from previously unselected rewards. At this moment when countless people look forward to what rewards Scott will receive. 3 options appeared on the dimensional platform in the next second, and when people see clearly what the reward options are they all gasped. His face was full of shock and disbelief. They never expected it. This time's reward has shattered their outlook on life. Damn it. What kind of existence is this dimensional platform? Seeing these rewards, my heart can hardly stand it. Come on. The rewards that Scott has received are so enviable to me. Why didn't I get these rewards? Hiss. I thought the rewards I received before were shocking enough, but I didn't expect that this time. I'm as ignorant as a country dog. I want all these rewards. The rewards provided by the dimension platform can make me gain knowledge every time. I'm already satisfied. In an instant there was an uproar throughout the universe. Countless people showed extremely envious expressions. The reward this time was also an eye-opener for them. If it is not a dimensional platform maybe they never imagined that such a thing could exist. At this time Scott and the Avengers who were watching the video, as well as the countless people watching the video, turned their attention to the explanation box behind the reward. When they see the explanation of the first reward storage ring their pupils dilated rapidly, their mouths opened wide, and their hearts felt like a huge wave had set off, and they couldn't calm down for a long time. When they first saw the name, they already imagined a ring with a storage function. You must know that throughout the universe, the dwarves and other races have created countless artifacts, but they have never seen the props used to store them. But they never expected it. Such a small ring actually has 10,000 cubic meters of storage space. This is so outrageous. However, when they see the back anything you put in will retain its state at the moment before it was put in, and it can be collected and retrieved with just your thoughts. I even felt short of breath and my scalp was numb. Just being able to have 10,000 cubic meters of storage space was enough to shock them. I didn't expect that I could collect and extract it with my thoughts. What's even more frightening is that once you put it in, the state of the item will always be the same as the moment before you put it in. What's the meaning? It's just a piece of food that's about to rot. You put it in even if 10,000 years have passed if you take it out again, it will still be in a state of decay, always remain the same. Acid, so sour. This thing is completely tailor-made for Ant-Man, right? Damn it. Actually has 10,000 cubic meters of storage space. Just such a small ring. Why do I feel like I'm dreaming? It's incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I've never seen this kind of artifact. Although it doesn't have much combat power, I feel so awesome when I think about being able to carry 10,000 cubic meters of stuff with me. The most important thing is that it can still maintain the status of items. It's like it has stopped time. It is simply an artifact that combines time and space. Doctor Strange, give me a chance. I'm very interested in this thing. Iron Man, this thing is probably tailor-made for him. If a master thief matches this ring, I don't think 10 of my Stark Industries are enough for him to steal. Wanda, this ring is nothing. Look at the second reward. I can't even do it. Countless People are still shocked by the first reward point. Many people have already turned their attention to the second reward point. However, when they saw the explanation of the second reward point, the shock on his face has solidified, because this reward 637 is really beyond their expectations. Although they don't know what the spirit of speech is, but when they saw the effect of this word spirit point, my heart felt like a huge wave had set off and I couldn't calm down for a long time. It can drag the enemy into a dream. Even if others realize that it is a dream, they cannot escape. It can kill the enemy in the dream and cause the enemy to die mentally. If the enemy believes that he is being killed in the dream, he will die in reality. Chapter 272. When people see this sentence point, I can already imagine the horror of this Yanling. Even if they can drag the enemy into a dream, they have never heard of it. Even if the enemy realizes that this is a dream, he can't escape. Oh my god, point, this method is too outrageous. And as long as you kill the enemy in the dream, the enemy will die. Even if it didn't kill him, point. As long as he believed he was killed, he will still die. What is a word spirit? Why is there such a heaven-defying skill? Hiss, I feel so cold on my back now. I can drag others into dreams, and I can't resist. I'm afraid that I will be dead when I wake up the next day. Killing him in a dream is equivalent to killing him directly. Even if he is not killed, making him believe that he is being killed will make him die. Who can resist this? I'm also envious of this reward. It's so outrageous. Doctor Strange, can I go back on my word? I also want this reward. But if you are willing to exchange both rewards with me, I will gladly accept it. Spider-Man. Damn it, this mind control is even more powerful than Wanda and Mantis. It's actually possible to kill enemies like this. It's so scary. Loki. Maybe this thing is more suitable for me. I've never heard of something like the spirit of speech. I'm afraid it's not just this kind of heaven-defying power. At this time point, even certain superheroes who have received their awards, they all had to lament the incredible nature of this reward point. I couldn't help but feel a strong interest in things like words and spirits, although I don't know what this is, but they know there must be more than just one powerful skill. Looking forward to this even more. So the countless people watching the video turned their attention to Scott on the dimensional platform point. No matter how shocked or envious they are, point, the final choice is in his hands. Crazy to know what he would choose. Point 161. Shocking fruit. Trigger hidden video. This storage ring not only involves space, but also involves time. I really want this thing. At this moment, point, Doctor Strange's face was filled with envy. Point. When I received rewards twice before, point, he is very calm. Point, but this time he finally couldn't calm down, because the ability of this storage ring far exceeded his knowledge. Point, first, there is a storage space of 10,000 cubic meters inside the small ring. Point, it was enough to shock him, but what's even more shocking is what does it look like before you put it in. No matter how much time passes, it still looks the same when you take it out. This is equivalent to this ring involving the realm of time, stopping the passage of time for storing items. Even he can't guarantee it now. I can use the Eye of Agamotto to perform such an operation, but this storage ring does it. How could this not shock him? How could I not make him envious? I want this too. In this case, I can carry countless mecha legions with me. Tony Stark echoed. Point. Even though there were so many incredible props before, point, but to be honest, he wanted this very much, point, because this thing can greatly speed up his plan to arm the entire Earth, and it can make him feel more secure. That's right, a sense of security. If the mecha can provide him with a sense of security, then a mecha with a storage ring can let him experience what it means to have an overwhelming sense of security. This ring is nothing. Look at the second reward. I can't even do it. But at this moment, point, Wanda on the side said with a dull expression. Point, apparently he was shocked by the second reward. Point, even though she knew that her chaos magic was incredibly powerful and could manipulate the minds of others, channeling their worst fears. But it's not like this reward. This is simply too scary. Yan Ling, what is this? Spider-Man. Peter Parker exclaimed. Point, it was as if I had seen a new world. Point, and everyone quickly noticed this label. It should be the same type. Do you remember fruits such as the Zenson fruit? I guess this word spirit should be similar to a superpower. Tony Stark quickly recalled the fruit that had appeared before. I think Yanling should also be a general term for a category. So everyone began to interpret this superpower. You don't know if you don't read. I was shocked when I read it, although it says spiritual spirit, but this is even scarier than the mental system. Can actually kill others in their dreams. Who can do this? This word spirit is so terrifying. As far as I know, no one can do this. Yes, I can't do this either. Things like dreams are wonderful to begin with, let alone killing people with the help of this thing. Wanda. And Doctor Strange said so. This caused even more uproar among the surrounding Avengers members. This shows how terrifying and powerful this reward is. I think he will definitely choose a storage ring. As for the second spiritual spirit, I think it still needs to be considered. No. Think about it. If he chooses this word spirit, when he turns into Ant-Man, he can pull people into dreams without anyone noticing. Wouldn't it be perfect? Just as Banner spoke his mind. He was refuted by Hawkeye on the side. As a perfect shooter, he often needs to find the right position to prepare for the attack. Dive into nature has also become an essential part. So I understand better how suitable this word spirit is for Ant-Man, able to sneak in without anyone noticing, and then kill in a dream. It is simply the skill that a killer wants most, so he thinks Ant-Man Scott will definitely choose the first two rewards. Perhaps he will make a bolder choice at this time. Spider-Man spoke his mind. Compared with the spiritual system of Yanling. He thought Ant-Man might be bolder compared to petty theft, which is more in line with his identity. Maybe he will change. Maybe. I still think just before Hawkeye finished speaking. Scott's frown on the dimensional platform finally relaxed, as if he had made a choice. It immediately attracted their attention. Sure enough, I still want to make some changes at this time. Scott sighed. From the time the option appeared until now. A long time has passed. Perhaps he was the one who hesitated the longest. As for why he hesitated for so long. Naturally, it was because he was struggling between whether to continue living a life of petty theft or to change his lifestyle. First of all, option 1 is of course a must. Whether it's a life of petty theft or otherwise. The functions of this storage ring are so powerful. There is no reason not to choose this thing. Chapter 273. As for option 2. It seems to be in line with his quiet status. Many people also think that he will choose this too. But just now. He figured it out. He no longer wanted to live this life of petty theft. Although in the future he may still become Ant-Man by accident. But who says that Ant-Man must use this spiritual spirit to defeat his enemies? Can't we use powerful attacks? That's right. He wants to change. He wants to take the initiative. He no longer wants to be such an unknown person. I saw him taking a deep breath and finally gave his answer in the eyes of countless people looking forward to it. I choose option 1 and option 3. Wow. When Scott said this, it immediately caused an uproar in the universe. Countless people's faces were filled with shock and confusion. I don't know why Scott gave up on such a terrifying word spirit and turned around to choose the remaining rewards from others. Wait a minute. Is he a fool? Doesn't this Yanling sound good to him? Yes. For him who can shrink, he can kill people invisible. Why don't you want such a good thing? What on earth is he thinking? What good rewards are there for others? I don't even remember. That's right. I'm so angry. It's okay if you don't want to give this to me. Just when countless people were disappointed and even wanted to complain about him. Scott's voice continues. I choose the Zensin fruit. Boom. When Scott said the shock fruit. The angry and disgusted expressions on countless people's faces immediately turned into surprise and horror. Yes, shocking fruit. They almost forgot about this powerful reward. Holy shit. Shock fruit. How could I forget this thing? I'm not dreaming, am I? This little and actually chose the shock fruit? It's really surprising. Suddenly, I thought this was a good choice. I remember that the Thunder God's Thunder Fruit was terrifying, and this shock fruit shouldn't be much weaker either. This little and seems to be different from what we thought. We are looking forward to it more and more. Yes, compared to the petty thief spirit type speech spirits, choosing this active attack earthquake fruit is not bad, and the future is promising. Once Upon a time point countless people have witnessed the power of Thunder God's Thunder Fruit point naturally. I know that the Zensin fruit is not far behind point, but what surprised them even more point Scott would actually choose this kind of active attack reward point. Not bad. Very good. It's impressive. At this time point Scott finished his words, two beams of light flashed out from the dimensional platform point. Suddenly, a very simple, obsidian-like ring appeared in Scott's hand, and a fruit with a very strange texture seemed to make the whole space tremble when it appeared. Is this the storage ring and the shock fruit? Scott's eyes were hot and his breathing was rapid. Point, it feels like my heart is going to jump out. First is the storage ring point. It feels very silky, as shiny as real obsidian, and is truly weightless. Put this ring on point. Scott can even feel that this ring is connected with his thoughts, as if a ray of his consciousness can enter it, and he can feel the incomparably vast world. Boom, boom, boom. Scott's heart beat faster. He feels like he is dreaming now. I even want to kneel down and thank the dimensional platform and the author of the video. Grant him such treasures. Just when he was extremely excited. Point, the inmates on the side were even more excited than him. Point, even the prison guards came over, urged him to put things in and see what the effect is. Don't worry. Let me put this thing in first. Scott's face was very proud. Point, it's like a show. Point, because he knew his baby daughter must be watching him in front of the TV. Point, so he wants to put on a good show. I saw him coming to the table next to him. Point, put your right hand on it and move your mind. Point, under the shocked eyes of countless people, the table actually disappeared out of thin air. It's like it never appeared. 1, 2, 3. The tables and chairs in the entire prison cafeteria were instantly put into the storage ring by Scott. Point, suddenly, people across the universe who were watching the video started commenting. Point, it would be a lie to say that I'm not envious. This thing is really practical, and there are earthquake fruits. GKD, GKD. That's right. Scott, why are you acting like an old woman? Hurry up and feed me. Hurry up the fuck. The inmates and prison guards on the side urged him together. They are all quick-tempered. Point, I want to see if the next reward is as incredible as the description. Although this reward was a long time ago. Point, but they never forgot the power of this fruit. Okay, I'll eat. Scott was surrounded. Point, novel group 703,216,220. Then he took a bite of the fruit in his hand. To be honest. Point, when he bit down, he felt like his teeth were about to break. Wang heyo's heyo, and the taste is terrible. Point, but in front of so many inmates he didn't dare to spit it out on the spot. What if someone picks up the soap? So it was accompanied by the sound of gurgling. Point, Scott finally finished eating the shock fruit. Point, click, click. Sudden, the whole space made a sound like breaking glass. Scott's originally thin body suddenly swelled, and he could feel an extremely terrifying force flowing through his limbs. It seems that with a wave of your hand, this prison made of reinforced concrete will collapse in an instant. Is this the power of the Zensin fruit? Scott's eyes sparkled with light. Point, he clenched his hands tightly. Point, boom, boom, boom. At this time, the whole world was shaking, as if a magnitude 10 earthquake was coming. Countless inmates and guards in the prison were knocked to the ground. The wall cracked with cracks like spider webs one after another. Countless fragments and rubble flew in all directions and collapsed directly. The noise caused by it can only be described as astonishing. See this scene. Point, countless people watching the video gasped. If you are so strong just by clenching a fist, wouldn't it really be like the description of the world falling apart if you use all your strength? This is so scary. Chapter 274. Ding. Congratulations to Scott for triggering the hidden video. Hide video. When the sound of the dimensional platform sounded. Point, countless people who were still in shock suddenly had their eyes lit up. Point, everyone is looking forward to what hidden video Scott will trigger. Point, 162. Ant-Man. Scott is a superhero too. This is the storage ring and the shock fruit. It doesn't look bad. At this time. Point, Hank Pym, who was watching the dimensional platform, nodded with satisfaction. Point, before he, like countless others, thought Scott would choose the second reward. Point, but I didn't expect that I would choose the Zensin fruit in the end. It surprised him, and surprised him at the same time, because he can feel that the power contained in this shaking fruit can only be described as amazing. Just clenched his fists. The entire prison collapsed instantly. Point, until Now, his heart is beating loudly, and he can't calm down for a long time. Father, it seems that you have recognized him, but can he really become a hero? A side point hope. Added point she rarely saw her father show such an expression. Point one more question couldn't help but arise in my mind. Point can this guy named Scott really become a hero in the future? Hope. Maybe you don't believe that he can do anything in the future yet, but I think you will know soon, Hank. Pym stood up. Point a rather confident look. Point as if he could predict what would happen next. His eyes were fixed on the dimensional platform. Point but at this moment. Point when the sound of the dimensional platform sounded. Point Hank Pym clapped his hands excitedly. Point his face was full of excitement. I knew it. I knew this guy would trigger the hidden video. Hank Pym's eyes were glued to the screen. Point the sense of anticipation instantly climbed to its peak. He guessed when Scott got the reward that he would trigger the hidden video. Point and think this hidden video will definitely reveal how Scott inherited his mantle and became a superhero. Point so he can't wait to know now. And I saw my father who had changed from his normal state. Point Hope was also slightly surprised. Point unexpectedly. My father, who is usually very serious. 637 He would actually be interested in a thief. Point is it possible that he will really become a superhero as his father said? Hope's eyes lit up. Point I also felt a strong interest in him. Point his eyes were fixed on the dimension platform, waiting for the video to start. Damn it. How could I forget the Zensin fruit as a reward? The other side. Point Tony Stark was as regretful as if he had lost a bet. Point the same goes for Hawkeye and Banner. I never expected that there would be such a heaven-defying reward. However, when they saw the destructive power produced by Scott after eating the shock fruit. Point there was even a look of shock and disbelief on his face. My heart was shaking like a magnitude 10 earthquake. No way. Just making a fist can produce such terrifying destructive power. Then if he uses all his strength, wouldn't it be like the description? Earth shaking, and a tsunami rising to the sky with just a raise of his hand. They are obviously bugs. Why can he be so lucky? I don't accept it. While others were shocked. Point Peter Parker exclaimed in envy. Obviously one is an ant and the other is a spider. Both are bugs. Why are the rewards obtained so different? This is not fair. When Scott appeared in the video before, I knew he would definitely get a reward one day. I didn't expect that. I guessed it. I just didn't expect the reward he got. Even I was envious. Doctor Strange was also very shocked. Point I was shocked by the power of the storage ring and the shock fruit. Point but it's more of a relief. Point he has long known that this Scott is also a superhero. Point according to the past habit of awarding rewards on dimensional platform. Point superheroes will all receive rewards, so he knew early on that Scott would be rewarded someday. Now I do get rewarded, and it's not bad. Point it's just that he is more curious. This guy is a master thief. Point how to become a superhero. Ding. Congratulations to Scott for triggering the hidden video. At this time. Point the sound of the dimensional platform rang. Point it immediately attracted all their attention. I didn't expect Scott's choice. Point it actually triggered a hidden video. Point and it doesn't take much thinking. Point they also know about this hidden video that will surely reveal how Scott became a superhero. Drive Banner and Doctor Strange go and bring that guy over. Now is the time. At this time. Point Nick Fury on the sidelines realized that it was finally time. Point once upon a time. Point when Scott appeared in the video for the first time. Point he checked this person's details. If according to the past. Point he will definitely bring Scott to shield. Point but he didn't do that. Point why? Because he knows it very well. Point Ant-Man's technology is controlled by Hank Pym. Even bringing Scott over would not only violate the law, but would also fail to convince Hank Pym. Point so he has been waiting for an opportunity. Point and now this guy triggered the hidden video. Point how he became the second generation of Ant-Man will definitely be revealed. Point thus maybe Hank Pym will let go of all these years of resentment against S.H.I.E.L.D. and put Scott on the right track. Hear the words Bruce Banner and Strange looked at each other. Point I also set off for that prison. Scott, what the hell are you doing? I almost got killed by you. That's right. Even if you get the reward, you don't have to kill us, right? I'm going to fuck you, Scott. My legs were crushed. Hey, it hurts so much. At This moment point the prison, that had long been in ruins, was filled with dust point. The air was filled with dust and fine gravel point. Countless wails and curses echoed throughout the space point. These prisoners never imagined that Scott just clenched his fists and the prison collapsed. You must know that the structure of the prison is completely different from ordinary buildings. Not only can it withstand horrific earthquakes and tsunamis, but each wall is extremely thick and strong, making it harder to collapse than climbing to the sky. But what about Scott? He clenched his fists, the whole building collapsed. How could this not shock them? How could we not surprise them? Even though they are now full of complaints and abuse. Chapter 275. But no one dared to approach Scott. I was afraid that he would kill me if he got upset. They all stayed away from him. Is this, did I? The expression on Scott's face froze. Looking at the ruins in front of me. There was a huge wave in my heart, and I couldn't calm down for a long time. He never expected that the power of the Zensin fruit would be so terrifying. The originally unbreakable prison fell apart like this. Doesn't it mean that from today on, he also has terrifying power? Ding. Congratulations to Scott for triggering the hidden video. At this time the voice of the dimensional platform sounded. The sounds that were originally full of wails and resentments disappeared. Everyone turned their attention to the dimensional platform. Wonder what kind of hidden video Scott triggered. Hide video. When Scott heard the sound of the dimensional platform. My eyes light up. Unexpectedly, one day he would not only get rewards, but also trigger hidden videos. This is something he never dared to imagine. At the same time, I was very proud inside because he could guess that this hidden video would definitely explain how he became Ant-Man and a superhero. In this case, my daughter will definitely feel proud of herself. This is what he wants to see most. At this moment in the expectant eyes of countless people. The originally black picture finally showed color. Deng 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 when the soft and melodious piano sounds as if by conditioned reflex. Countless people recalled the vast universe that appeared at the beginning of the video and could even imagine that there was a spaceship floating around. But to their surprise this time it's different. It's no longer the vastness of the universe. It's like a mirror space. Countless prismatic mirror-like things rotate and fold, and compared with the vast and boundless universe, it presents a completely opposite feeling, more mysterious and subtle. See this scene. Countless people seem to think of the beginning of the zombie video. Hank Pym enters the quantum realm to find his wife. Could it be that this is the quantum realm? Internal group Wu Yi Jia 2, Sierra 4, 3. They haven't yet determined whether this is the quantum realm. I saw a familiar figure floating here, lonely and helpless, like a lonely boat floating on the lake. Forgotten. It is very similar to the previous spaceship floating in the universe. But one is infinitely vast. But this time it was meticulous. Let everyone who is watching the video have a completely different feeling. Hey, although the beginning is very similar to the previous universe, it seems to be in the quantum realm this time, right? It feels more mysterious and interesting. Yes. The previous videos often involved huge scenes such as destruction of heaven and earth. This time combined with Ant-Man's characteristics. Can we see the reduced picture? Damn it, I'm so full of expectations. Interesting. And interesting. This video definitely reveals how Scott became Ant-Man. But whether he is a superhero or not is still open to question. Compared to the huge macroscopic universe, maybe this time the microscopic one will bring surprises. I'm really looking forward to it. That's right. The videos that appeared before were all shocking scenes, and when I think of Ant-Man then you will definitely think of the reduced picture. Combined with this mystery, it seems to be connected to the beginning of the quantum realm. It's hard not to get people intrigued. After all, they have never seen a microscopic view. Maybe this hidden video will bring them a unique visual spectacle, and what they want to know most is how did a thief become Ant-Man? The most important thing is, does he deserve the title of superhero? Yes, even before the Avengers spoke up for Scott. But there are still many people who don't believe Scott is a superhero. What a joke. Can a thief become a superhero? They absolutely don't believe it. So they are also looking forward to this video giving an answer. When the scene changes again. Hidden video officially begins, and scrolling subtitles appeared in the video. The Multiverse is full of countless possibilities, as vast as the galaxy, but there are also extremely small worlds, which are gradually being unveiled. After a gorgeous transformation from a thief, Scott is also a superhero. Next, play the hidden video. Ant-Man, .163. The prodigal son returns. He is the second generation Ant-Man. How is it possible? Is this thief really a superhero? Scott is actually a hero. Although I have questioned Stark's playboy before, but there is no such immoral behavior as stealing. Obviously his behavior no longer deserves to be called a hero. Yes, but the narration just now said that Scott grew from a thief to a hero. Maybe things will turn around. I want a reasonable explanation. You must give me a reasonable explanation. At this moment when the narration sounds, countless people are even more outraged in their eyes. Superhero should be the kind of existence that supports justice and saves the world. Even if some people have character flaws, or their powers are destructive. But no one has ever had such an unethical record as Scott, so they need an explanation. A reasonable explanation. The other side. Scott looked at the dimensional platform with a wry smile. Although he is very excited and proud now. But I also felt great pain in my heart. He didn't expect that so many people on the dimensional platform would question his ability to become a superhero. Even worse than Stark and Star-Lord. They're right. He was indeed in prison for theft. But who knows why he stole it? However, he did not refute or send a barrage. Instead, he sat alone on the ruins, hoping that the hidden video would help clear his name. Hey, man. Don't be too sad. You still have me. At this time Louis came to Scott's side. Even though no one believes that the thief in front of him can become a superhero. But he certainly believed it. This guy's not stealing for himself at all, but robbing the rich and giving to the poor. How could such a person not become a superhero? But he did not refute on the dimensional platform, but quietly accompanied Scott and watched the video together. Wow. Fuck him. Come on, Scott. Ha 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 ha. Teozi, let him see how powerful you are. Cheers. And noises suddenly broke out. I only saw the video transition. Scott's figure appeared on the screen. At the same time, everyone around him was wearing the same clothes as him. Apparently this place is the prison where Scott is. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.